Good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is where you guys are. My name, as always, is Tiny Pixels. I'm very, very welcome on in to another 6 out of 10 podcast. I have with me, as always, as sadly always I do, the sort of lovely, I guess he'll do, Squall Muzzer. Sam, how you doing, sweetie?
Well, I was alright, and now, well, I'm just deeply offended. I'm probably going to cry for a few hours. So don't expect any podcasting from me today. I'm just going to be weeping over the barbed insults that Pip just threw at me, to be honest.
Every week I say something nice about you. Every week. And you throw it back in my face. And then this week I say something not nice, and you throw it back. I can't win. It's like...
You've been on a run. You have been on a run of going, oh, I always say something nice every week, and you've just been on a spree.
You guys can't see it, but I did a little wiggle there, because Sam's finally cottoned on, and it makes me say... Anyway... In the tradition of this podcast confuses me to no end constantly, we have in fact another Sam with us this week. We have the wonderful Samos, Obi-Wan Shinobi. How you doing, Sweet Pea? How's it going?
Very, very well. I had a much nicer introduction than other Sam, so I feel good about myself already.
You're a wonderful human being, and if people, let me jam your camera up on the screen. Everybody say hi. If people haven't heard of you before, so you do a lot of good. In the community, across Twitch, across various platforms. I'm gonna refer to you as Obi, because I feel like that's what I refer to you as most, and it stops me from going Sam, and the two of you going what?
Which one?
Which is what's bound to happen. Obi, tell us a little bit about who you are, what it is that you do on Twitch, where people can find you, all that kind of thing.
So I do a lot of charity work and charity-focused events on Twitch. I started doing this in 2014 officially with Special Effect, and then later that year I joined the Operation Supply Drop team as a volunteer, and then started doing it full-time in 2015. Launching my own charity cause, and we're working with a charity called Save the Children, which actually we've been talking about recently, and that's called Co-op Causes. Actually interviewing for another job on Friday. That's another charity that isn't in the Twitch space, but it's still Twitch related. You can find me, find us on Operation Supply Drop's Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Operation Supply Drop. That's where you find most of the good work that I do.
Mm-hmm. Excellent news, and we're going to be, me and Obi are going to be working quite closely together soon, hopefully, on a couple of different bits and pieces, so you guys can hopefully look forward. I'm excited about that. I had some ideas the other day. Chat have already had some ideas about the sort of things that I want to do, because we're going to do some good this year, I think, and you are definitely one of the bigger forces for good. On Twitch. You are wonderful at what you do, and I'm so pleased that we have you on board. Please replace this Sam every week. No, I'm kidding.
I'll just go now, shall I? And I'll be off.
I'm getting worse. But it's really great to have you on. It's been a really good week for gaming this week, right?
Yeah, fantastic.
Cool things.
We've got a lot of really cool stuff to talk about, and when we were putting the sheet together, because we put a sheet together every week of like all the topics that we're going to cover, and we started to put the sheet together, and I was noticing the little topics pop up, and the first one popped up and I went ooh, and then the second one popped up and I kind of went ooh, and then the third one kind of popped up and I went ooh, and I kind of didn't stop until we got towards the very end.
I think this is a new record. There was only one negative topic on
right?
Normally it's like, right, well, this person died and this company closed and EA's just shat on their entire player base yet again. But it's actually quite a nice week. I'm beside myself. Yep,
absolutely. So should we dig right in?
Should we do some of that weird positivity stuff that we don't normally do?
I mean, like, I feel like this is Obi's influence, not either of ours. I think maybe you've graced us this week and given us a nice, big, positive week to talk about.
If we keep getting announcements like this, you're welcome back every fucking week. This is grand.
Absolutely, especially this first one. So our first thing to discuss is Nintendo Labo. So if you guys didn't see this, Nintendo have announced... Okay, I have to get this right. So Nintendo have announced cardboard peripherals for the Switch that allow the Switch to become an engineering toy for all intents and purposes. The idea
Pretty
is you
much.
have pre-built or pre-stamped cardboard kits. You put the kit together, you pop the switch into various bits and pieces, and it becomes an exosuit that allows you to control a robot. It becomes a fishing rod that allows you to fish out of the switch's screen. It becomes a piano. The piano one's really clever because it uses the IR sensors from the remotes to read reflective tape underneath the keys. This is an engineering toy for children, and the teacher inside me. I used to teach biodiversity and sciences before I became a streamer. And the STEM teacher in me was doing backflips. This thing is so good. Please tell me you guys are as on board with this as I am.
Mate, like, do you remember like when they came out with like Meccano? Like that sort of like the sticks that you could kind of put together in various bits and pieces, and it had like machinery parts to it, like it had like a little tiny engine or a motor that you could put into it to make stuff and whatever else. It feels like that, but the modern version of that, where it's not Lego, which is cool that you can just kind of pop together and you can make yourself a castle. It's got moving parts and it's got extra bits and pieces, and you can kind of fashion your own stuff for it and whatever else, and that's just so fucking cool. Like. The sheer possibilities are just making my brain melt and dribble out of my ears. Like, it's just...
So one of the things that like initially jumped into my head with it all is, do you remember the movie The Sandlot, or The Sandlot Kids as it was called in England? And there's the kid, like the hero of the story, it's a bit of a loner at the start, and he just plays with his Meccano toys and ends up using his Meccano skills to go save the baseball that they've knocked over a fence into the dog's yard. I'm like, they could do like a remake of The Sandlot, but make out like this giant cardboard switch contraption that basically becomes like that version of it. And you just know there's going to be some like YouTuber or Twitch streamer who makes like a diva fully mechanized cardboard version that you can walk around a convention in. You know it's going to happen.
So I might already have plans because they're releasing. So the kits are $70 and $80 respectively. $80 for the robot exosuit, and then $70 for things like the piano, the fishing rod. Bear in mind that the piano takes like 2 hours to build. We've been told. Yeah, that's part of the fun. But the exosuit, I'm kind of like, okay, but you could build a shell around that really easily, and it wouldn't affect the underlying sort of mechanisms. So yeah, you could walk around in a goddamn cardboard Gundam and fight robots in it. A++. Best product ever. I'm so behind this. Again, like, teaching STEM outside of a school environment is really difficult. And Nintendo have correctly identified that we have a problem with STEM-educated individuals leaving education and filling, gaps in our industries, right? And it's, I don't want to bring I'm gonna bring it in very, very carefully, and then I'm gonna ignore it again. Bringing women into STEM is really hard because STEM is not fun, and it's sort of very male-dominated, and it's very difficult to convince women that STEM is fun at a really young age and get them to take an interest in it. This is gonna get so many kids into engineering. This is gonna get so many kids to develop their problem-solving skills. It's gonna get so many kids to develop their mechanical skills, to better their coordination and their concentration, to get them, better at building things, following instructions, all that sort of thing. There's so much sort of skill learning integration in this that is so wonderful. This is really, really cool.
I think it's going to open up some really wholesome streams as well. So, like, for example, you got Aurelian and her daughter. Like, I can imagine them streaming it, like building everything together and then playing everything on stream, and it would just bring a whole like new wholesome, feel-good side to Twitch, which, if we're being honest, that lacks at times. The hate kind of takes over. So I feel like this is a good way for Nintendo, like, hey, the gaming industry is nice.
Yeah.
And it's also like, after the whole like hoopla with loot boxes, they're like, hey, well, how about cardboard boxes instead? Like, we've got this.
The thing that made me laugh though was this announcement came out, and I tweeted about it endlessly because I'm so excited by this whole concept. because I'm so excited that kids are going to start picking this up and building and learning and developing skills and all this sort of thing, right? And the fact that they can customize it is, wonderful and all that, but, aside from that, people were tweeting me being like, well, that's great, but you're paying $70 for cardboard. And I kind of went, okay, but you're not, because you're paying $70 for the software and the print on the cardboard and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but what if they wreck the cardboard? Then you have to pay $70 to get it back. And every part of me sat back and went, how on earth have we got to a point where people don't understand that if you wreck the cardboard, you take your Amazon box, you draw around the bit that you wrecked, and you teach your kids about making meshes. You teach your kids about putting things together. I don't... And before even that, you've taught them that they should look after their things.
Did these fuckers not watch Blue Peter?
Right?
I don't think America had Blue Peter.
But they must have had an equivalent, right?
When I was a kid, I didn't even like Thunderbirds that much, and I still made Tracy Island. I think I could manage to replace a fucking key on a piano.
I was literally about to make a joke about making Tracy Island out of egg boxes and toilet roll, right? I was literally about to make that joke.
Double-sided sticky tape and loo rolls.
Yep.
That's it.
I missed out on the whole Art Attack Blue Peter thing. Like, I spent 3 years of my childhood in America, so I was like, here's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, here's Power Rangers before it was in England, here's like...
You missed out.
Yeah. And so everyone's like, I'm going to watch Blue Peter. I'm like, I'm going to go watch Visionaries, peace.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, like, I love this entire system. I think if we could, I don't know where Nintendo are about opening this up. At the moment, I know it's only registered developers who are allowed to kind of toy with this and get to grips with it and what have you. If they could open this out to the wider community, if they could start supporting schools and museums with this, can you imagine?
Mm-hmm. It's endless possibility.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And taking it to like a sort of corporate dickhead sort of direction. Okay, Domino's deliver your pizza.
And your pizza box is a...
You can download the Domino's app and turn the pizza box into a light gun that you can use to fire pizzas at people in this little game that they've made, or any variation of that. Like the one I really had in mind was like the WWE wrestler figures that you can get that come in like their little cardboard box sort of thing. Well, they've got like cardboard back, right? You could turn that into maybe like a mound.
No. Sorry, I'm done. I'm sorry.
I've so missed this. You can turn like the cardboard into like maybe the Titantron, like some kind of like sort of stand for you to put your Switch screen on, and then that plays the Titantron videos for your new figures because they have like a little NFC touch or something.
I do have a Titantron I could pick up, but it's pretty massive, so I'll leave it on the floor.
Yeah.
I won't show that one to camera.
That fucking QVC this week, and
yeah.
And this we have at a very competitive price. If you phone now and use a credit card, you will get. But you know what I mean? There's so many little different bits and pieces you can do like that as like a sort of marketing appeal thing, or physical items plus you get another thing with them.
I'm pretty sure, Obi, you and I talked about a tweet that came out from Bisha, right?
Yep.
And we talked about Amazon partnering with Nintendo. So you get certain boxes, they've got certain meshes on them, you get an adult to cut them out, you've got a new toy to play with. And Amazon do their box people and stuff, don't they? And they do a lot of this interactivity through Prime and things like that. So why not?
Expanding on as well, you've got companies like Loot Crate who do like Loot Gaming, which all comes in a customized box. Which normally they're like, hey, if you fold this out, it's on display. So they could just go, hey, there's like some new cool like add-ons that you can do with the Lobo. Yep,
you will need 3 elastic bands, 4 yards of string, and 2 sets of sticky tape, and you're good to go. And most people who have children in their homes have 3 elastic bands, 4 yards of string, and however much sticky tape I said.
This also sounds like the beginning of an episode to MacGyver.
We need a paperclip. We need to wend a paperclip in there, and we're about.
I'm so excited for this, and seeing some of the insides of the things that they've built on here. You guys will see the controllers that they've built, the way you use the actual screen as a controller, or You look at the insides of various bits and pieces, and they've put, I don't know, like various gears and cogs to do with bits of string and bands and things like that. All of it, or some of it, is very complex. We were talking about that Guardian article where some of them take 2 hours plus to build.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's so cool!
Yeah, that's really good.
So cool.
That's not negative by any stretch of imagination.
Nope.
Like,
The more complex they are, the better, my god, because then you've got ones for litlins, and then you've got ones who are coming up, and ones who are coming up, and you build them up through the stages of these toys. We were warned that these weren't for adults. I don't care, I want all of them.
Lies.
But they've marketed this perfectly for children, and they've got a perfect step-by-step sort of system ready, in place, for kids to use this thing. I love it. And I can't wait for them to open this up to all sorts of developers, schools, museums, youth projects, to get them in on this. This is going to be massive, and I love it. And I don't care that people are complaining that it's $70 for cardboard.
It's not, though. It's $70 for a lot of hard craftsmanship to pull everything together and to make the apps and to make the interactivity and to make the technology and to host it on the platform and shut the fuck up.
And hopefully, if that is maybe a bit on the expensive side, maybe they can like take some of that money that they've made off of it and go, okay, well now we can afford X amount of kits for museums. Now we can afford X amount of kits for schools.
Yep. Here, since those ones were successful, here's some for 20. Like you'd be able to do it once the technology itself has been paid for. It becomes cheaper to make stuff for that platform.
Yeah.
And just think, when Fallout 4 inevitably comes across the Switch, you'll be able to build your own Pip-Boy and mount your Switch screen in it. It won't be awkward trying to play it like that with a Joy-Con in each hand at all. Like, that'd be grand.
Oh, my life.
Did you both see what came on the back end of the Nintendo announcement, though? There was some leaked images of Super Mario Sunshine 3. Which we don't know if it was like made up, but it was using like low bus technology to balance like the Switch screen on, and like the game being played was and there was box art for Super Mario Sunshine 3, which I feel was a bit of a hoax because we've only just got Super Mario what's it called? Odyssey? I'm just calling it Metro there. So it might be a
Super Mario Metro would be really scary. I don't fancy that.
It's just Mario in the Metro world. Like, oh my god, what's going on?
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But no, there's so many different options. There's so many opportunities with the Labo stuff.
Yep.
I think it'd be grand.
Yeah, I do too. I'm really excited for it.
If they opened it up to like indie devs, so you've got a Team 17 who made Overcooked. I mean, again, going back to your idea with teaming up with Domino's, there could be something. Say if Domino's even having to make an app, they could just partner with Team 17 and be like,
"Yep,
here's some things for you."
Here's an expansion for Overcooked. If you turn a box into this peripheral for it, you can play. You know, when you're cooking your food, you can hold the handle of this as a frying pan and toss the food so it goes quicker or something.
I used to have a game on the Wii that came in a box, right? Like an old school PC game box. And you took the game out of the box, put the box on your lap, put the Wiimote upside down on the box, and then it was like a little runner game where you had to run and jump over obstacles. So you tapped the box, and the vibration would move the remote, and so the little dude on the screen would run. And it wasn't perfect by any means, because to get him to jump, you had to like... But like...
mash the box.
Yeah. But it's called Let's Tap, and they did like a Jenga game in there as well. So you would very softly tap the box to get your little block to come out and things like that. And if you tap too hard, the whole thing would fall over and the other guy would win. And Let's Tap was kind of in this direction. And I can kind of see maybe little things like that coming up that are super simple, super cheap to do, but work.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was shit.
But it's an idea, and it's a cool idea, and it's
it's different, right? Different control methods are always cool. So yeah, this is inherently a good thing. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. This comes out in April.
It comes. So that's the best
April.
thing. It's the most meme release ever.
Yes,
as well.
because it's the 20th of April, so it's $420, and then it's $69, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Nice.
Nice.
Should we move on
Yeah, we probably should.
to more nice things? I think actually.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of. I'm not the biggest Fable fan.
Okay, so I
But-
really enjoyed the original Fable. I really enjoyed Fable 2 until you got to the ending, and I sort of forcefully enjoyed Fable 3. I'm excited to have a Fable that's not made by Lionhead. I'm gonna come out and say it.
Well,
I know. Okay, so hear me out. Lionhead had this really great idea, and then Peter Molyneux held on to it and squeezed it really tight, and it became this weird amalgam of like other games and Fable. And it didn't work because it wasn't purely Fable. If another team could look at what made Fable 1 so good and take that and make it into a new Fable,
And if they could manage to do it without Peter Molyneux going, it'll be the greatest thing you've ever seen! The world has not gazed upon a creation such as this before! Then I think it probably would do a little better. Because that man is the worst thing for any game.
See, I'm on the fence of like I wish it was Lionhead doing it, even though that, but no Peter Molyneux. Peter Molyneux is his own worst enemy. Because whenever like a console comes out, or like Sony or PlayStation, that's the same company. Well done, me. Sony and Microsoft are talking about the specs of like it can do this, and it will hug you when you go to sleep. They oversell their consoles quite a lot. And Peter Molyneux, he takes that.
It's in on that marketing too.
Peter Molyneux takes that.
When
to
you
heart,
feel
I think.
melancholy, it will cuddle you.
Like I'm pretty sure at one point. I'm pretty sure at one point the PS4 said it would like hold you in the shower if you were having it. I'm pretty sure I saw that on their marketing team. But Peter Molyneux takes what these companies say to heart, and he thinks that like the Xbox 360 could have launched like a nuclear rocket into space and built a whole space station by itself.
Yeah.
So he takes that and goes, if that's what these like consoles are promising me, this is what my game will be able to do. And then he just spills everything out. It's like, yeah, we're gonna do it. And everyone's like, the Xbox 360 can't even run in 1080, so I'm not sure how it's gonna do what you're saying.
No,
But
I mean, the problem is he started with that attitude, and then it just built into his own sort of thing. So all right. So here's something that none of you needed to know about me, and something that I always hate sharing. I bought into 22 Cans, and I helped kickstart Goddess. Because I wanted to be, when they talked about their tournament, where you could be the best Goddess player, and you were going to be God of Gods for like a year, and then people would have to come and challenge you, I was like, yeah, I'm behind that, let's go.
The premise is fantastic.
But we're never ever going to get that now. That's been canned. That's all gone. Bye. 22 Cans is entirely accurate.
Yeah. Did you see the story about the kid that... Because they had that box thing at the
Yeah,
side.
well, that was... Yeah, he was going to be the first God of Gods. Yeah.
Was it Curiosity it was called?
Curiosity, yes.
Yeah. Well, the kid that won that just got shafted as well.
Yeah.
Like, they took him to their studio and showed him around, and then Peter eventually sort of turned up and went, yeah, all right. And then like not much else. And he was supposed to get like a profit share of the game and whatever else. They just didn't bother to win ever again.
Yeah.
I still don't think he's been paid from,
No.
like what he was meant to get.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
No, it's very sad. But I think if a company, and I mean, like, I used to know people, I don't anymore, but I used to know people who worked at, my brain's just died, Playground Games. Playground Games.
Okay.
Right.
And they were a really nice studio, and they understood distilling an experience. When we talked about Forza Horizon, and I worked at Game when Forza Horizon first came out, Forza Horizon 2, and we talked about making a game that allowed people the freedom of driving around, but without tying them into any of the mechanics that current driving games had. So
Right.
we would have a lot of parents who'd come in and say, I buy my kids GTA, even though they're too young, just because they can drive around a city in a car and smash things up. And Forza Horizon was kind of our answer to that. It was a more suitable experience for them if they enjoyed driving around. And they kind of got that. And I think if they can distill Fable down to what made the original Fable good, and Fable 2 good until they started to run out of time, then we're on track for a really great Fable game. But it's whether the team can in fact do that. And I don't know. I have no idea. I can only hope.
I think it's crucial for... Because we're still in speculation, that is.
Yeah.
Even though there have been some accidental tweets now deleted by the previous heads of art directors saying, "Oh, so that's who's working on Fable 4 now." And I was like, "What?" And like, "Oh shit, delete this, delete this, delete this."
It's like nearly confirmed rumor.
Right.
So, do you guys know who Lady Albion is?
Yeah.
So I think it's crucial that they get her back to be the community manager for Fable because she put her heart and soul into that. Did you guys play Fable Legends at all? I know it was cancelled, but there were some people who had to play that.
No.
It was fantastic. I was playing it since the alpha. Fable's a very sacred game to me. It's up there with my top 5 favorite franchises.
Oh no!
And since it was available to anyone outside of the company.
No,
you're okay. You had a little hiccup.
You kind of went for a second and then came back.
Okay. I can blame Sky Internet for that. It's better than BT, but it's all I can get.
Right, let's not. Look.
Sky and BT are on the same line, so...
Yeah. Sky just have much better customer service.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Anyway.
Either
Fable.
way.
So I got to go to the... So they did the book release for Fable Legends before it was canned, the art books. I was there for that. Lady Albion was making a fan interaction video, hey, why'd you like the franchise? So I was part of that. So I got to be part of the last video that the company ever really made. And she is vital. That art team is vital. They just need someone else to go. Maybe somebody from the community who loves the games and understands what made them good. It was, hey, don't overpromise, don't oversell. Let's just go back to a classic English RPG.
Hey, is it really a Fable game if there's no overpromising?
I mean, Fable 1 didn't overpromise because they had nothing to
Yeah.
go forth.
Is this just you pitching for a job? Because it's someone from the community.
Somebody from the community should
Pretty much, if anyone from Microsoft is watching right now, this guy.
Yeah, so someone who just happened to be in the last video that was ever done around Fable Legends,
who's got the signed art book, who's even got a Fable Legends cape. I've got that to hand.
Anyone at all, but yeah. I mean, I'm pessimistic just because of how Fable 3 I thought was just an absolute wank basket. It was just mere. And there's potential and possibility with a new team that they can get away from the mistakes that were made and the kind of dilution of the formula that occurred over time. But I guess time shall tell. I also found them a little bit too short as well. I felt like I was just getting into it as it finished. So I'd like to see a slightly...
Yeah, I've always felt that.
Yeah, there's always been a pacing issue there. But I mean, a new team, fresh eyes, old lore. Yeah, hopefully something can be done there for sure. And let's hope you get a little bit of a nod to it, maybe.
Heart of all hearts is if they can somehow combine Scalebound with Fable and just mesh it into one game.
I had a really sad email about... I had a really sad email about Scalebound 2 days ago, where a game were we've cancelled your pre-order for Scalebound because Scalebound is no longer in development. We'd like you to go into a store and pick up your pre-order. And I kind of went...
No, if I don't pick it up, it's not over.
Right? If I don't pick it up...
There is rumblings that somebody else is picking it up, that Microsoft are getting it away from Platinum and giving it to someone else.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
Because they renewed the IP until 2020.
Okay.
After it was cancelled.
Well, we'll see then.
Believe
in Scalebound and Fable. Because they need something to give Xbox fans what made Xbox great. Like, it was the exclusives that we could get that sold us over, a lot of us over PlayStation. It's like, well, I can play GTA on any console, but I can only play Halo, I can only play Gears, I can only play Fable, I can only play Crackdown.
Yep.
On this system.
And now that Crackdown's not, and, you know...
And also, like, I feel really bad for Microsoft. Slight tangent here.
No, you're fine.
People, like, the PC Master Race community shit on consoles. Because consoles aren't as powerful, can't do X, Y, or Z. And, like, I'll only buy a console for exclusive games, and like at the moment that's PlayStation. So Xbox are like, all right, any exclusive games that we make for our console, we're going to make play anywhere and put on PC as well, so that we're not segregating our audience. Like, there's crossplay, everyone wins, and everyone's like, nah, fuck Xbox. It's like, oh.
Yeah, but to be fair,
they're trying to help everyone here.
Right,
if they crossplay in such a way that you didn't have to literally take a red hot poker, jam it up your arsehole, and whisk it around in the vain hopes that their store worked, then like I'd be totally on board with it. But their PC store is so hopelessly shit, and their porting as well of their Microsoft Studio titles is horrendously bad. I've got to pick.
The problem is I had to jump through a lot of hoops to sort out the Sea of Thieves alpha.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to jump through a lot of hoops to sort out getting access to the closed beta. But I'm hoping it's going to be worth it. And I think, provided more of these titles come through, then, you know, we should be...
Yeah.
But the store needs to actually work.
Yeah, that it does. But, you know...
That's the Xbox. The Xbox is fine. Everyone just play more Xbox.
Yeah, my big white VCR that sits downstairs that doesn't get touched, unfortunately, anymore. Yeah. Anyway, something that does show a lot of promise, but a lot of people are upset about.
Oh, it's Theme Hospital 2-Point Hospital.
So I made the mistake of seeing this, tweeting like crazy, and then going, "Hey Sam, are you excited?" And all I got in response was, "Ow!"
It was about 3 pages of just palm mashing my keyboard, I would say.
Did you have to order a new keyboard afterwards? I just broken this one.
Yeah.
Sega, like 2 weeks ago, put out a tweet with a little light bulb on it that said, coming 2018. And everybody went, they're relaunching the Dreamcast! And we went, no, they've just signed on 2 Point Studios. Like, they're building a new simulation game. And everybody went, they're making a new Sonic! And we went, no, they've just signed on 2 Point Studios. They're bringing a new simulation game out. They are making an Flying Knights game again! And we're like, no, they've just signed, for fuck's sake. Anyway, fast forward 2 weeks, and this week we've had the announcement that 2 Point are in fact working on a Theme Hospital spiritual successory game that is genuinely funny and genuinely good looking, and I want it so hard. Like,
you know,
oh!
Funny enough, that's my dating profile right there.
I was on This is getting a little scary now. I was like, yeah.
6 out of 10. My dating profile.
It's getting a little bit creepy now, Sam. Like, we may have to.
We've got very much similar train of thoughts right now.
Yeah, we may need to spend some time apart.
Yeah, becoming one.
Oh, my life. But no, this looks great. It looks genuinely funny, which was the point of the original Theme Hospital. Theme Hospital was never meant to be a very serious hospital simulation, because that's kind of grim. An actual hospital simulator is actually a bit dire, right, as a concept.
Oh yeah.
How many sanitary towels do we have in stock at this point in time, or whatever else? Like, no.
Like, we can't move X patient up to X ward. She's gonna die in a corridor. Make your choice. Like, that's really awful. And as somebody who's had to live through that, like, that's.
Your hospital is currently understaffed, but Theresa May needs more budgets for holidays, so you have to reduce the staff by 20%.
Right.
DUP, the handout.
Whereas instead we've got lightheadedness, where the guy's head actually turns into a light bulb. And I went, Doctor to Inflation Clinic! Like, repeatedly. shouting at the track. I'm so excited by this. I really, really am. It's so nice to have a silly simulation game that harks back to that kind of genre. I just... No, I can't.
It's going to be a good year for simulation games because obviously we've got this coming, but the Jurassic Park simulator is coming out.
Oh, the Frontier, is it Frontier doing it? Yeah.
So this could be the year that simulators come back.
And I love them. Oh.
Zoo Tycoon 2 will be announced at E3.
Oh,
that'll be Microsoft's big seller.
My little heart is going. That's the wrong side for it to be my heart, but it doesn't matter. My heart doesn't sit on that side because I'm not an alien.
Picking out a nice tune over here.
No, I'm so excited for Theme Hospital to come back. You have no idea.
It deeply needs Steam Workshop support.
Yes.
Mods to add your own in there, because the Core 6TH mod for Theme Hospital, where people like fans have just made their own campaign, their own editor, their own everything, and loaded it through like this modding tool. And the campaigns that they made were fantastic. They were hugely fun.
Yep.
To be able to just add that extra lifespan into this new title, I would literally, I will never work again. I will never eat. I will never sleep. Like, this would be mad.
I'd forgotten about modding until a couple of days ago. I had to make a mod list for a Darkest Dungeon streamer. And I had to go through his endless amount of mods, search them up on the workshop, and put them into a nice, tidy list with a little, description of what they did. And I sat there going, this is really good. I haven't put Darkest Dungeon down since. To be fair, I've also picked it up vanilla on the Switch, and I haven't put that down since that came out either. So, but I totally forgot the mods existed. And then the game reminded me, and I went, oh. And this game that I was done with on PC, I'm now like, but I can get the Plague Doctor to show lag, and I can make it harder, and I can make it winter, and so yeah, no, new hats. I totally agree that we need to mod in all the old diseases. So if there's no slack tongue, like Steve says, if there's no inflation, bloaty head, yeah. That needs to all be modded back in. But can you imagine some of the stuff that people will come up with? Right.
On the Core 6TH mod, they added like a few extra diseases in there, but not many. And one of them was pregnancy as a disease, and it was just listed as having a parasite removed as a form of treatment.
Yeah, boxer shorts ridden too far up the thigh clinic. Yes. Yeah, extraction clinics for the win. I'll take those.
And if it comes
like the fucking was it hair restoration when it came out? Fantastic.
So I've got the idea. Do we know if it's coming to Xbox or anything, or is it just going to be on PC?
I think it's PC for now, but I imagine they'll look a bit better than that.
If they put it on Xbox and you own Sea of Thieves, you could get bonus like illnesses like the Rise of Scurvy DLC.
Yes! Where you have to go to a pharmacy and the nurse hands you an orange.
Here's some Sunny D.
Yeah.
Sweet. Oh fuck, now I've got diabetes.
Now I have diabetes. Back to the GP you go. No, there could be some really cool interactions here. And again, it's genuinely funny. It's picking up, it's riffing off of the old Theme Hospital where it wasn't serious. Your receptionist would say very loudly over the PA, hospital administrator is cheating.
Yeah.
And
it dialed white code in the fax machine.
Yeah, and it was good, and it was wholesome and silly, and even the deaths were kind of funny, and you got awards for, I don't know, selling lots of fizzy drinks, and also you got awards for not selling lots of fizzy drinks. Whichever one you wanted to do. It was good fun. And that's this is a thing that I want. I want to invent my own diseases.
Oh yeah.
6 out of 10, invent your own disease. 10 out of 10 game. Absolutely.
And the thing is, all I want from this is for it to be as functional as Theme Hospital. The rest of it, I almost don't care. I just want it to work.
Yeah.
Because I've played a couple of other Theme Hospital alikes over the past few years, and they're wank.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't work properly. They're not balanced. They just don't play fun at all. I just want to be able to build stupid rooms for stupid patients that make me a profit, maybe, and then someone says something slightly quirky over the tannoy, and maybe the Grim Reaper will come occasionally and send people to hell. That's all I want.
Please have your credit cards ready. No vomiting in the corridors.
If you could please die quietly, please.
If you could please die quietly. Yeah,
I mean,
no,
we're pretty much just voicing the game here and now. Like,
right.
we're taking care of Sega's job for them. We could just drive up to Richmond after this with like with this on like USB stick. Like, here's all the VO.
Hello.
Like,
Yeah, here's all the VO done. I'll be your female receptionist, and Sam will be your male receptionist. And it'll be wonderful.
No word of a lie. I've actually applied for a PR role at Sega because I was just like, right, that's it. I'm done. They've got a job up. I am going to take over this game and I'm going to push it to the fucking moon.
Oh.
That's where I'm at.
No, I'm really excited for this. And
it's a
again,
really nice
like,
office.
ooh. No, we've got some really, really cool games coming out this year. And with this being so cool, because this is a 2018 release, we think.
Autumn, I believe.
So basically, I get Theme Hospital for my birthday, and that could not make me a happier little thing. Like, right? So good. I'm excited. I'm super excited for this. To the point where, again, the same as the cardboard announcement, I sat there in bed, looked at the tweet, and went, and tweeted everybody I knew about how excited I was. So it's, yeah.
So it's been a week of just palm mashing keyboards, hasn't it, really, in excitement?
Yeah, I think so. And this next one actually qualifies too, right?
Oh, so AGDQ, like, it's a weird one. So AGDQ this year was more sanitized than previous years, as it's kind of been a trend. They've become sort of more family friendly, less kind of risky with a lot of stuff that they do. And
I do have a counterpoint to that.
Hmm?
I do have a counterpoint to that in a second.
No, fair enough. They had the chat in sub-only mode, which helped because people were subbing and therefore money was going to the charity and there was less kind of toxic shit in the chat. So that was kind of good, but equally it was a little bad. Like that's just kind of a whichever way you want to look at it. But they broke records again. They raised the highest amount that they've ever raised once more. Well over 2.2 million raised for Prevent Cancer Foundation. Mm-hmm. But there were some amazingly good runs. Did you guys Bloodborne run?
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Oh.
I'm still watching my first ever playthrough of Bloodborne, so I had to not see that.
I got you. Yeah.
Go back to it when you can. Go back to it. It was phenomenally good. The dude that ran it was it Jesus His Toast, I believe his name.
Mm-hmm.
It is on Twitch. You could just see the passion that he had for the game. And just like he literally every step that he took, he had something to say about it, and like he knew exactly where he should be in this. It was just like an absolute masterclass. Amazingly good. What runs did you guys catch? Did you catch many of them?
Resi 7. So Carcinogen did Resi 7, and I have a special place in my heart for Resi 7. I really love it as a video game, and to watch him play that, it's like always so good.
And Punchy was on the couch for that, and I fucking love that dude. He's brilliant. He talks a million miles per second, has incredibly in-depth knowledge, and just a splash of ego with what he said in a really funny and charming way that just really gets me.
Yeah.
Makes me so happy.
Yeah, did you watch any runs?
He reminds me a lot of Mickey from Dallas Fuel, the Overwatch player, in that regard of how it's just a little bit of arrogance, just very excited and speaks very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Obviously not Korean, though.
Can't have it all.
Slight difference there.
Yeah, can't have it all. But no, did you watch any runs this year?
I missed it all.
Oh.
I was occupied with work and planning other things.
Mm-hmm. Now some of the runs are well worth watching this year. I managed to watch the Zelda race.
The randomizer race, Link to the Past.
Now no. Original Zelda.
Oh, original Zelda.
Right. 2 of them died. And so it was like, at one point it was frame by frame because the guy who died earlier in the run was catching up. And then the second guy died later on. And the two of them were so close and getting closer and closer and closer and closer. I love racing like that. I absolutely love racing like that. It's super good. I watched a bit of Boshi as well. And Boshi runs always make me kind of like question whether I should be allowed to ever talk about gaming ever. Because clearly I'm never ever going to be like that good. Just up here. So, and the guy's like, yeah, and you can just jump this way and blah, blah, blah. We're going to go for 100% here. So we're going to go grab this and then we're going to shortcut back to here. And, oop, that bit was a bit difficult. And I'm like, no, that bit took me 20 hours to do. Not, oop, that was a bit difficult. No, that took me 20 hours. Get out of here. But no, with things like that, they're always so passionate about their games. And I feel like that really showed this year.
Oh, yeah. I think at one point he went and he's coming up his frame perfect jump. Up there it goes. Yeah,
no, he kept saying that. He's like, oh no, here's some frame perfects. Here's some frame perfect sections here. So I'm just gonna be quiet while I do them. There we go, all done. What?
I wanted to reach to the screen and punch him for being that good at games.
But you couldn't because he was so like, yeah, these are old memes, but some of these are still really funny. And it was like, oh, that was super good. But yeah, no, like I always like that. I always end up every time there's a speedrunning event, I always end up going back and watching Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons run from like a year or 2 years ago because I love that game endlessly.
The dude from Power Up Audio.
Yeah, and he really likes the story, so he tries to explain the story as he goes through, even though he's like walking over massive sections of it, because that game gets broken to hell and back. But it's good. It's good to watch. Absolutely. And Wembley's asking about massive cringe moments this year. There wasn't all that much this year. Not compared to like, I wish you'd just be quiet.
Yeah. I'd really prefer it if you'd be quiet.
I really prefer it if you'd be quiet. It's like, oh.
Well, I feel like GDQ as an event has kind of... It knows. It knows that there's cringe linked to it. Like, you know, people that are there quite socially awkward in general. You know, there's lots of people within the community that live alternative lifestyles, be it that they're trans or there's a hell of a lot of trans runners that were there this year. And to be perfectly honest, holy shit! Like, I don't mean to be like really crude about it. I actually can't think of any other better phrase, but like the balls to actually do that. And like that sounds horrible. I can't think of a better phrase, and I'm the worst person in the world. But like to be able to sit up there in front of like over 100,000 fucking people and not only be playing the game incredibly difficultly and incredibly well and incredibly specifically in front of all those people, but to like be yourself and to be like known that you're probably getting fucking slated for it, and to like, you know, like, because some of the trans runners there weren't particularly didn't particularly pass very well, and I don't mean that as like a negative comment against them at all, but like they must have some sort of awareness of that and sort of bravery to just like, if it were me, I'd be like, fuck it, I'm putting a t-shirt and jeans on. But to still kind of represent who they are in front of a crowd so large, and
especially a crowd known to
be so toxic with it.
Absolutely. Because there's no getting away from it. GDQ events are always super toxic. Sorry, suddenly there was a noise outside my door and I could have went. It was Steve. No, GDQ events are awful for that sort of toxicity. They always have been.
That's all it is. It's just they're huge events at this stage.
You know, we see the same with tournaments and things that are awful. But to see,
speaking of, there has been some very bad stuff happen at Overwatch League this week.
Yeah. But to see GDQ not shying away from embracing trans runners.
Yeah.
Because they haven't gone, okay, well everybody like kicks off every time we put a trans runner on, so let's not do that anymore. Instead of doing that, they've gone, alright, well, we don't care. these runners are going to go up and they're going to be the beacons of the speedrunning community.
Yeah.
Accept it. We're not changing that. And that's really good to see.
Yeah.
Like,
And
really good to see.
It's literally, well, they're the best people that submitted for this particular category, so there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, we think
You're on the stage.
these were the best people to represent this game.
And that's fucking cool.
How bad has Overwatch League been? Because I haven't managed to catch much of it.
So I've been watching pretty much every match because Overwatch is my drug of choice right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's that and insulin that basically keep me alive.
Gotcha.
So Houston Outlaws played Dallas Fuel a couple of nights ago, and Houston Outlaws just decimated Fuel, which was kind of an upset. And Fuel, who used to be the best team in the world, haven't even won a match yet, so kind of embarrassing for them. But there's Momo, who is a big... I'm not sure if he's gay. I think he is, but he's a big beacon of hope in the lesbian, gay, bisexual community. He's a very big supporter of everyone's rights, the nicest guy in the world. And XQC, who didn't play in that match, he plays a Fuel. He was streaming afterwards, and there was a little bit of beef on drama. And on stream, XQC said, "Oh, why don't you go suck a dick? I know you would like that." And so he's now been suspended by the league and his team for one game. So he wasn't allowed to play last night. But Dallas Fuel has suspended him for this entire first period of matches. So he won't be playing again professionally until, I think the next rounds are end of Feb, March time. But they're thankfully SGC and Momo have made up, and that's all he knows he fucked up and made a mistake. But it's just a bit come on, dude, you're one of you're the more famous Overwatch players, everyone in the Overwatch scene knows your name. You should really think about that. And so I'm glad that Dallas Fuel stepped in and have taken him away from being on the spotlight, and hopefully people oh, he's only 22, he should he'll learn.
Oh yeah, but you should know better by then.
You should know better by 22, especially the community you're in. So it'd be interesting to see where they go.
Yeah.
With him, if he might even end up getting dropped completely by Dallas Fuel.
Yeah.
But that's been the only negative.
Right.
That and Philadelphia were 2-0 up, and we blew a 2-0 lead and lost 3-2.
Oh, grim.
That just hurts me. That just hurts my pride more than anything.
Yeah, but no, I feel like AGDQ this year handled it particularly well with sub-only mode. They did much better with their runners and their couches this time round.
The tech was really good this year as well. They're incredibly complex, and I get that. It's a super complex setup, but previous years have been super disastrous in places. But the number of technical issues that cropped up this year were minimal. Yeah, absolutely minimal. Couple of microphone problems here and there, and that was it. And that's baffling.
Yeah. But no, absolutely congratulations to them, because they've raised so much money. And I now need SGDQ to be around the corner, because
we got ESA coming up. I want to say early March.
Oh, good. My television downstairs doesn't feel the same unless I have some form of speedrun on in the background.
I'm not sure where they've got it. I think it's over in Sweden or something. But yeah, they normally do it alongside another event. I think they've done it at an Insomnia or something before. They just have a little boofy part in a corner or something. So
okay. Well, we'll have to keep an eye out then for sure. But yeah.
Speaking of, I hope Insomnia soon gets a whole restructuring and.
Well, they should do, because multiplayer have fragmented again.
I'm okay with that.
Everyone's okay with that.
The Insomnia events were a goddamn mess.
They have become so, yeah. They used to be wonderful, right?
I never got to see the wonderfulness.
No.
I think it was I-57 I went to, and I'm probably never going to go to this event again.
No, I-52 was probably my favorite. I-47 was fucking wonderful. The merger with Game has trashed that event. It now doesn't know whether it's on its head or its arse. It absolutely doesn't. And I kind of hate to put the blame on the Game merger and multiplayer getting bigger, but since they left Telford, and since they put that merger in place, they genuinely don't know whether they're on their head or their backside. Absolutely, they do not. And I really hope the event either recovers or we get a new LAN event that is worth attending in the UK, because at the moment it's only half a LAN event and it's half of a show floor event, and it's not doing a terribly good it's not doing terribly well at either.
Like, I went under the impression that it was a convention and the LAN was like tacked on.
No, it used to just be a LAN with like 3 booths. You would get like an MSI shirt and you'd get a convention shirt, and then you'd go back to your computer and you just play until you like couldn't play anymore, right? And then they opened it up so that they had a couple of indie booths, and they had a couple more sort of big brand booths, and that was great because you'd buy a computer part, you'd jam it in your computer, and then you'd play for the rest of the weekend. Like, good, all sorted. They ran a Minecraft con one year, and that was pretty good. I worked that one alongside the Yogscast. I say alongside. I sold tickets.
That lot? Was Snake Doctor there?
I don't remember, so. But that one, I gave out tickets and things because they used to do a thing where if you volunteered, they would take money off your ticket, and that was the only way I could afford to go. So I had to deal with all the angry parents where my child wants to see the Yogs people. Where are the Yogs people? Which was
like a yogurt.
But no.
To them in the rice booth, like, it's right over there.
But no, we need something in the UK to kind of come back up against that, and it's not right now. It's not Insomnia.
We've been spoiled by US events, and like they just do it so much better. Like my first experience of gaming convention was over in the US. It wasn't even here. So when I went to Insomnia for the first time, I'm like, okay, so where's the convention? When's the fun starting?
That being said, I always think that EGX and EGX Rezzed, especially Rezzed, are really nice events.
I need to go to that this year.
So they're very small, but like Rezzed especially is a really nice way of getting to feel the UK indie scene. The UK indie scene is very warm and it's very welcoming. And Rezzed is kind of a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling as you see people in their indie booths talking to people and hugging people and walking around and seeing each other's games, and everybody's always so happy for you to go and speak to them about their video game. It's like, you know, when you do the game tour at PAX, in the indie section, it's like that, but on a slightly bigger, warmer, more British scale. It's nice. And it's small, sure, but it's friendly and it's nice.
It's London, right?
Yes, Tobacco Duck. Yeah. And then EGX up in Birmingham, again, is about the same size as an Insomnia event, but it's not trying to be a LAN at the same time. It's not trying to split its attention. So it does a vaguely good job at being a smaller but more focused convention with a good AAA indie split. It's suffered a little bit over the last couple of years, but it is pulling it back. It is pulling it back.
There's never enough in it. Like,
No.
it just
Not
feels
anymore.
very empty in there. And like, instead of having like 8 different booths, there's like 2 booths smeared over the same sort of size space, and they've just got like excessively large shite cluttering around their booth. But
it's a bit of a spectacle, and that's kind of nice, I think, as well.
It's not even spectacles. It's like, oh, we're going to put this sofa in the middle of nowhere at an angle because we've got some spare space.
Not that bad, but it has suffered over the last couple of years. But I feel like EGX is climbing back out of the hole that it's in, just slowly.
I mean, they suffered because they were forced out of London, effectively.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I can see how they've had a bit of a wobble. But it's just it's stupid little things like they always used to put carpet down because the floor was uneven because it's a concrete floor and it's used for like multi-purpose stuff, and they don't do that anymore, which, to be fair, it is super expensive, but at the same time you nearly break your ankle in a pothole. So like there's a bit of a kind of, you know, little thing that's kind of irk me, I guess. I'm a grumpy old man.
I don't know, I feel like as a fan of the indie scene in the UK, it's nice and it's warm and it's welcoming, and then you go look at the AAA booths and you go, oh, that's nice, and you turn around and go back to the indie section and hug people and like have cuddles.
Dissidia.
We did play Dissidia, yes.
EGX this last year and won a lovely medal.
Which I feel we should talk a little bit about, actually.
Segue.
Oh, my life.
Because it's like the month of the betas this month. Like beta. You've got
Oh, hang on.
Dissidia NT
You've forgotten one on here. You've forgotten my one.
What one? What one?
Sea of Thieves. Sea
it
of,
this one?
sea of Thieves is the 25th.
Well, I was going about ones that are already open.
Oh, I guess.
Like all of these ones have already been up over the past however long. But like obviously, we can talk about that on the next podcast. Shh.
Sorry.
You could even get Daily to come on as a special guest.
I mean, we should try because I love Daily a lot.
Totally should, yeah. Anyway, podcast.
I'm getting too used to doing the ASMR thing.
Yeah.
I'm getting
So
I'm getting too used to it.
over this past little bit, Dissidia NT Final Fantasy, Dragon Ball Z Fighters, Zuzul,
Yep.
Italian 1944, which
Yep.
went up.
Which is doing really well, and it's gonna open up again in the next couple of days. But yeah, it's been doing really well.
It's up now at about 6 p.m. UK time.
How's that? I just tweeted.
Yeah. Metal Gear Survive, which
I haven't
know
seen,
nothing
but
about it. I know that it exists.
That's my knowledge of Metal Gear Survive. It's a thing that exists.
yeah.
Yeah, that's literally all I know about it. It's a multiplayer Metal Gear game, and I don't know what to think about it.
And Monster Hunter. Do-do-do.
If any, have we had a chance to play or look at or ruminate upon?
Obi?
I've looked at them all. I have codes for most of them, but I give the codes to other people. And so, like, one of the agreements that we have with most developers is that if we get a code, we'll cover it on the OSD, like Twitch channel, as a way of working together. And so I then normally give it to other people to cover. So I'm like, yeah, I've got it, and then it's gone. So I see a lot of beta codes, and I get access to it, but I never get to play them.
I'm gonna
Aww.
look at these bloody press kits.
Yeah. No, I've been playing Dissidia. I actually got to go up to the Square Enix office to play some Dissidia. Dissidia's so good!
Did
Buy
you
him-
hug Cat while you were there?
I did, yes.
Yes, good.
I did. And Rhea, because I love Rhea to death. And Dan, because I love Dan to death.
It's just
Dan-
a great team.
Yeah, it's a really great team up there. No, I absolutely adore Dissidia. Now, considering I'm not a fighting game fan in any way, shape, or form, and I'm not very good at them, I love Dissidia. The environments are gorgeous. The characters are gorgeous. The movesets are intuitive. The controls are just so fluid. I really love it. I really love it. And you can play as Tidus, and you can play as Jet. So that's it. I'm good.
So,
Is that who you play as? Forevermore.
Yeah, I'm an Assassin's kind of girl. So a little bit of lightning as well. I quite like. I tend to play my two fast bays, and that's lightning because lightning is. She's fast bay, and then Tidus is fast boy. And
I have
it's
an
good fun.
interesting background with Lightning from Final Fantasy. When I was working at Jinx and we interviewed the developers for Final Fantasy Lightning Returns 2, it was all in Japanese, and we had only had the script of the translation, but we had no one actually translating it. So guess who had to do the official voiceover for all of that? This guy. This guy had to do that. So it's the weirdest thing watching Japanese people and my voice come out over the footage of Lightning.
Lightning's well good, and I do like her. And we're designed to make her have nice hair and a flippy sword. Is that?
Have you seen the script then? That's pretty much what I said.
It was a leak.
Yeah. Can I point out there's been some breaking news since we've gone live?
Oh.
In terms of, it's in the beta realm, so it's kind of perfect. Do you guys remember PT, the game that scared everyone?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
Silent Hill PT's, that trailer has now officially been remade by a fan, so you can actually play it again on PC.
Oh shit! Oh, that's really cool. Okay, hang on. BRB while I write a million DMs to people that I want to play it on cast.
I will,
Okay.
I'll DM you the links.
Thank you.
Going live to are we doing this again? Oh, God.
No, that's really fucking cool.
Now you've sent Wembley into a spiral of hatred. If you dare mention Konami to him, he goes off on a 20-minute vitriolic spewing hates.
I mean, like, I get it. But no, Monster
Konami
Hunter looks
follow me on
really.
Twitter, so I feel pretty proud.
Oh. But no, Monster Hunter World looks really good. Like, really good. I am well into that because they've brought back some of my favorites, but also they're expanding on some of the weapon sets that I really like, so that's good news, and it's so beautiful. I'm hoping to play that soon.
It looks like a good jumping in place for people who have never played Monster Hunter
Yes.
as well.
Monster Hunter can be super, like, intimidating, I think.
I don't
Did it used to be turn-based?
No.
No?
All live
Okay,
running
good.
around. Actually,
Yeah.
kind of
But it's fast action, and if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you get killed, and you've let your team down.
It's a little Dark Soulsy, I would say.
Yes. Yeah.
But
If you can't learn to read patterns, yeah, you're
I
screwed.
can't read, so this is going to be awkward.
That's a really nice jumper, but why you chose one that reads twat, I have no idea. Like I'm the worst.
Yeah, I played an early Monster Hunter game. I don't remember what one it was, and I played it for an hour, and I was just like, "Fuck this shit! It's no fun."
Okay, Monster Hunter World is going to be fun because it will bring you into it a little bit slower, but you'll be able to play alongside people and.
Little cat friends are cute.
Oh yeah, they're really good. They're really good. The little cat friends are great. On the 3DS game that we had recently, you can dress them up as Mario and Luigi, and so you can have Mario and Luigi cats run around with mallets after you and bonk things for you, and it's great.
I need it.
Yeah. 10 out of 10 bonking cats.
So where would you recommend playing Monster Hunter World? Is it a console game? Is it PC game? Where are you going to be?
So it feels very odd to say that it's on PC. Monster Hunter on PC feels very strange. I would always default to the PS4.
But the lobbies are like these really weird. It's the traditional Japanese rune code mechanism.
Where you hunt for a room.
And for that reason only, I would almost say use PC because fuck twiddling about with a controller to enter all of that shit, because they're like 12, 16.
No, you can look for rooms and stuff. It's not as complex as you're making it out to be.
If you want to join your friend,
oh yeah, then you have to actively search for the right thing.
12 or 16 character string of like, and it's upper and lower case, and that matters.
Yeah.
So there's no like just join friend function on the PlayStation, or
Not in the
I don't know what it's going to be like on release. But honestly, I'd say at the moment try it on PC. Most of us are PC gamers. You'll feel comfortable enough trying it on PC. It's going to be strange to have a Monster Hunter game on PC, but I'm kind of excited for that because this is going to bring so many new Monster Hunter fans to the table. I'm really excited for it. So yeah, like PC should be fine, but otherwise default back to your PS4 because a console like that is where Monster Hunter's always been, and it's going to feel kind of normal.
Dragon Ball Fighters memes.
That's not really my kind of bag, so
it's not mine either. But as far as those games go, it's probably the best or one of the better ones that have come out recently. Like it works, and like it's actually got controls that are good, rather than just kind of having to just slam various buttons in the vain hopes that it works. Which like there was it Dragon Ball Xenoverse? Was it the previous?
Yeah,
they were just piss, honestly. So at least it's got that going for it. Battalion 1944, from what I can tell, is a pretty cool little shooter. Not really my thing. I don't really care to be parading around trying to play what is effectively an old COD game, but but it does seem to be a capable little shooter, and it's nice it's coming from like a smaller studio that probably cares a bit more about the gameplay than the microtransactions.
And the gameplay looks solid from what I've seen.
Absolutely.
It looks very smooth.
So yeah, I kind of dig it. Wouldn't necessarily play it myself, but Metal Gear Survive isn't really a Metal Gear game, so stop lying, go away.
If it was Metal Slug Survive, I'd be all over it.
Right, but Metal Gear is a little bit
Look, it's not Metal Gear Revengeance, so yeah, I'm not
sure.
Metal Gear Revengeance 2. Bring me that. Then I might consider it.
Alrighty. So another new thing that's I know Obi, you're gonna be excited for this one, right?
Have you heard this story by perchance?
So I feel like Obi should tell us about this one because you're our resident Overwatch fan for this one. I hear some. Oh! Are we finding the Nendroids? Oh yes.
Kind of a fan.
So I hear Overwatch is a bit of a roller coaster right now.
Oh, love the pun.
Hey!
Yeah,
Tell us about Blizzard World because
Blizzard World might be the best thing that we will ever experience in video games. Not to oversell it in this
bold claim.
Very, very bold claim. I honestly feel like Overwatch has been the most addictive game I've experienced since Counter-Strike 1.6 came out. For me, I can't play another video game. And so it's been on the PTR, the public test round, for a while, but I've avoided going there just because I want the non-broken version of it. I want the fresh.
Right.
And so they officially announced that Blizzard World is coming out in the patch next week on Tuesday. And so every day since, they've been doing more teasers of what's coming, of new emotes, new sprays, new skins. As we've been streaming, they've just announced the new Lucio skin, which is very convenient for me because Lucio is my boy, along with Zenyatta. I love that disco ball life. But we now have Blizzard World, the new map, coming out on Tuesday, which is a theme park based around all of Blizzard's other games, as well as it's got the Overworld section, Overwatch section, the Hearthstone section, the Warcraft, Starcraft. Somebody's gone through and done all Easter egg counts of every little detail. There's 120 already that's been found, and that wasn't even in the final version.
Yeah.
Everything in this new map is. And so this is the first Blizzard game I've ever really played. I've played 20 minutes of World of Warcraft, and I watch it. I didn't have a PC. I'd never had a PC. But do you remember those old grey towers that we used to have in the early 90s? That was the only PC I owned.
I don't have to remember one. There's one
This is what the stream was actually from. I would used to play Counter-Strike 1.6 on it, and my game would freeze, and it wouldn't be the game freezing. It would be my computer just about to break. I used to have to punch it for it, then the game would continue playing. That's so bad. My computer broke when I punched it once too hard and it fell off my desk. I was and it's dead. So I missed out on the World of Warcraft. Now they've got World of Warcraft 7.5.6. Whatever.
7.3.5.
Thank you. I might jump in now, but I might save that before I actually have a PC that can run it, because I run everything off gaming wise PC. I do it on my laptop. Mm-hmm. My laptop is fantastic and lovely, but I feel like it would get burnt out trying to run an MMO on it.
Right.
12, 14 hours straight.
Yeah. No, the 7.3.5 patch is really interesting because we're moving on with the story, but also they've changed the way that leveling works so that you can actually play out a story now without over leveling it. So you can play a story arc from start to finish without having to either abandon it halfway through to get good XP or having no XP for the second half. So that's going to be great. But Blizzard World is such an interesting concept for a map.
And
does it? Do you know, because obviously you must have been listening to player feedback about whether it works or not. Do people feel it works? Because this is going to be a really hard thing to get right, I think, because there's so much in this map.
People are worried it's too open. Is the only the only worry or concern that I've seen so far. But to me, that's good because a lot of the control points you have to capture, you only have one or two ways in, and the defending team can just set up, and the only way you're going to lose is if the player just outskills you, because you can just literally block it up with turrets or whatever, shields, and just smash through. But because this is slightly more open, and you'll be able to get around to the point to get the cart to move it along easier, I would imagine. So I think it's going to add a whole new skill level to the game that we're not really seeing too much right now. And what I love about professional play, and in myself when I play, is I'm never going to be the most skillful player in the world. I'm not going to be Mr. Dominant. I've not died and I've dropped 1,000 kills in one game. I like to do the tactical side of things, and I like to see it as chess, which is kind of why I love American football, because American football to me is just a big game of chess.
Right.
Even though I suck at chess, it's a bad example. I think it's going to open up a lot more tactics to the map, and also I think it's going to be great is people are going to be like running around the map doing what? They're going to get distracted by an Easter egg, like, ooh, what does this shark represent? And then it's going to get killed. They're like, oh, whoops, yeah, I wasn't paying attention. I'm now sorry. I was just exploring the map, damn it.
Yeah, do you mind? This is. Yeah. I know we're in competitive, but like.
I know ranks and all count, but this was talking
but
at me.
Have you seen this shark? Like, excuse you?
Fuck your payload.
Right?
The shark spin around if you hit it properly. I can't wait.
Right.
There's been some amazing tweets though about it. Obviously, one of my favorite things is to look at big tweets and look what the general public say, because there's always like some like interesting points, but also some like you probably shouldn't be allowed Twitter if you're asking this sort of question.
Right.
So it's like the tweet was like, well, I can't remember what the date was. It was like on XY January, whatever Tuesday is, Overwatch welcomes you to Blizzard World. And the very first reply was, so when's it coming out? It's there. It's literally the first thing that's said. Like, look, see this tweet that you're replying to? Read it, and you've got the date. But the amount of people think are like, one of the overwhelming replies was like, if this was an actual theme park, it would be the best theme park in the world. Like, every to it. So I'm kind of hoping Blizzard are going, well, we've just got 90 million from Twitch, because if you guys don't know, that's how much Twitch paid Blizzard to
host the Overwatch League, yeah?
Yeah, for the first 2 seasons, 90 million. Jesus Christ. Like, should we build a theme park with that money? Like,
We do seem to be printing money.
Yeah.
What to do with all this money? Should we build houses from the money?
Because, like, imagine, like, because they've got BlizzCon in Anaheim every year, like, near Disney World. If they opened up another theme park in that area, like, and tied it to BlizzCon as well.
Yep.
Just do it, Blizzard, please.
Yeah.
Make our dreams come true. You're already good to us. Jeff, just leave Mercy alone. She's okay. Stop touching her, please.
But she's not right. She's not right yet. She hasn't got right yet. We have to keep prodding her. And we have to keep changing her. Clip her wings, give her wings, clip her wings, give her wings. Like, we can't decide. I wish.
I'm just waiting for them to buff Zenyatta, because boy does he need it. He can't do anything when he orbs, he's just sat there. Like, just let him throw his orbs so he can heal and so he can damage as well as heal. He's the only healer that can't attack when he's ulting, which upsets me. Especially considering how powerful Moira's ult is, which is disgustingly powerful for a support.
But Moira is wonderful design, though. She's so beautiful.
Oh, she's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And like, I love that we knew she was there and nobody thought to see who it was, because like her character was in the Halloween comics. But everyone thought it was just somebody else dressed up, and it was like, oh no, that's just Moira.
That's just Moira. Hi.
We showed you her 3 months ago, and no one bothered to look. They're like, oh yeah, we're kind of dumb.
Oh dear. Super good.
Blizz World not only brings a new map, it brings tons of new legendary outfits, like costumes, skins, as well as like not even legendaries. There's like purples and blues as well. 1,000 new emotes and sprays, and I'll be collecting them all. Since we've been talking, Lucio's just got his new legendary skin debuted, and he looks amazing. It's very Brazilian, very capoeira-esque. So I'll be there like, all right, how many loot boxes do I need? Blizzard, take my money.
So, as a fan then of, because I think it's kind of safe to say you are a fan, right? That's safe. I'm allowed to say that.
Hates Overwatch.
A little bit. So, what? Now that we've got Blizzard World, and now that we've got all your new skins, all your new, blah blah blah, what is it that you would like next? Where is it that you would like Blizzard to take Overwatch next? Although I feel like I have lost you to Coat Demons or whatever. Oh, you have a gun, you mean?
Yeah, I was trying to get her to sit on my pocket, or him. I don't know, male or female, but he was stuck on my chair and wouldn't come off. So,
oh, it's all good.
Just to prove my Overwatch love. Yes.
So yeah, what would you like? What would you like next? Are you looking for more characters? Are you looking for better balancing? Are you looking for more maps? What is it that you think Blizzard should be bringing to, or thinking about bringing to Overwatch next?
So there's quite a few imbalances for me. we've already been hit. Like Hero 27 is already being played by staff and is going to be quote unquote meta changing, according to Jeff Kaplan. So like we know Hero 27 is coming. I hope it's a character called Liao, who is a founding member of Overwatch, who has only ever been like appeared in hushed rumors, and like we think we've seen a photo of him, but we don't know if it is him. So it's like I want him because I need him in my life. And Jeff says we already know who Hero 27 is, so it's like, oh, it must be something that's new. And like in the trailer, the very like launch trailer that they debuted, they talked about Fusionaire and Soundquake as two heroes that we don't know anything about. So like I'm hoping maybe it's one of those three, but definitely want to see the new hero. We've got the Chinese New Year event coming in February, I think, or maybe even the last weekend of January. I can't remember when it starts. So again, there'll be even more skins, even more sprays and everything that come with that. But there is a lot of balance issues, in my opinion. I feel Symmetra needs another complete rework. Even though people don't use her competitively, like publicly, she's just so frustrating. The fact that you don't need to aim with her, you just hold it down. Her death beam, most characters can't escape it. There's a speed issue, like. As again, if I'm Lucio and I'm speed boosting away from Symmetra, she can full click me before I can get away. I'm like, she's wearing high heels. I'm speed boosting away in rollerblades. How is she keeping up with me?
I don't think you realize. So I used to work in a set of wedges that were like the size of my face, and I used to carry 5 Xbox Ones up and down the stairs in those giant shoes. You can be fast in heels if you try. Like.
When you were doing so, were you shouting "speed boost"? Like, is that how?
That's how the heels work.
Not quite. Yeah. Not quite. But no, I take that on board. Like, yeah, Symmetra is frustrating for sure.
And because I'm a support main, as you might have guessed with my love for Lucio.
Oh really? Oh really?
Imagine that.
I feel like both those characters could do with some more like either health or protection, because they can get one hit far too easily, especially by characters that don't require skill like Doomfist. Doomfist can sit in a corner, hold down right click, and you walk past, and even if he doesn't hit you, you're going to die anyway, because Doomfist's hit registration against you is ridiculous. Like I've been literally so say this was the payload, I'm here, Doomfist is here, he's hit me the car and I died. I'm like, but the car was in the way. But it's like, it's Doomfist, it's fine, he hit you. I'm like,
yeah, unfortunately.
Because I get like there's counters for every character which you need for balancing, but I feel like counter requires more than just pressing one button.
Yeah. Right.
So if they could just get Doomfist out of the game, it'd be great.
Not a fan.
Doomfist and Symmetra, if they just delete them from the game, I'll be
delete this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Neat. Okay. So yeah, as a Blizzard fan, because obviously like I play WoW, I play Hearthstone, I play a little bit of HOTS. Like I'm kind of excited to see whether they could take that theme park idea further, like a little bit maybe. Please.
When you play it on that, you're going to be playing it like this.
Yeah.
And occasionally doing that. And occasionally doing that.
I'm actually playing the game with my feet, and so I'm just screaming doing this the entire time.
Amazing. So every podcast, we usually pick a game each, and we rave about it, and we tell you guys why you should pick it up, based on kind of what we've been playing this week. Sam, did you want to start? Because we've already talked about your game a little bit, but I feel like you're the sort of person to really sell this particular game. You wanna talk a little bit about it?
I've gotten to the point with it now that I don't want to play the beta anymore. I just want to play the full game. So it's Dissidia NT Final Fantasy, and like the beta is just blue balling me so hard, because the progression is capped really low. Like you can only get up to like your overall level like of 4, which you can do in about 5 or 6 fights. And then you just kind of sat there going, but I want to get some more of the things to get the cosmetics to be able to make my people look nice, and you can't. But I'm not a fighting person. Like I used to be good at Street Fighter back in like Street Fighter 2 days. I used to be all right at Tekken 2. Like, I think you might be noticing a theme with how far back that I used to play any kind of sort of fighter stuff. And I guess, Dissidia is not directly traditional fighter, it's not like side-scroll and beat 'em up or anything like that, but like, it's just really, really fun, and it's not perfectly balanced. There are definitely some OP characters in the mix. My girl Ishtola is fucking up there. Cloud is pretty OP with one of his, because the way that Dissidia works, you have both bravery attacks, which chip away at kind of the opponent's battle strength and feed your own battle strength.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got HP attacks, which deal direct damage to your opponent. Cloud's direct damaging attack, or one of the choices he has, is like this meteor rain one, where it's just like this incredibly fast line of meteors that go way too far and way too fast and just cream you.
When we played it, there was a really big tanky character, and he was just impossible to win against. And I don't remember who it was. My brain's died massively. But
big and tanky, is it me?
If only. No, it's one of the bigger Vanguard characters was ridiculous to play against, and it got to the point where we were just doing 3v3 matches with him because it was silly.
Was it Triple H?
If only.
No.
Oh no! Oh, don't start.
Garland's pretty good.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, Garland. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very, very good. I've seen him played a bit and had many struggles.
Yeah.
He's quite fast for how much of a big fucker he is.
We got to the point where we were just doing 3v3 Garland matches because there was no point anymore. We couldn't beat the people who knew what they were doing and were playing Garland. That was it.
Yeah. But it's good strategically as well. So you've got your different class types. You've got marksmen, which are long range sort of spellcastery people. You've got your assassins, which are kind of nip in there, do a little bit of damage and nip back out again. You got your vanguards, who are like these big tanky bastards that are just gonna not get to you necessarily quickly, but when they do, they're gonna give you a fucking solid clump. You got your specialist characters, which are kind of like a mix of the two, a mix of like a one of the two melee styles or some of the marksmen, and it's just really satisfying when you do well. It shows in the fight, and I think that's quite rare in a way. Like normally, if you're doing well and the rest of your team is doing crap, it doesn't really matter because the rest of your team are doing crap. And it's dragging the average.
Like every Overwatch solo queue map ever.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm doing really well, I can carry my team. Like I can make enough of a difference to actually carry that team, or like press the advantage to the point where it just kind of tips over, and then they can start making a bit of a comeback, or vice versa. They can do the same thing towards me, and it really feels rewarding to do well, even within that individual fight, let alone getting the victory itself. And there's just a lot of strategy in there. It's really, really, really good fun. I swear they've sped up Sephiroth as well. Sephiroth is really fast now, and he was slow as shit.
Yeah, he was really slow earlier, but he's really coming through now. Yeah,
he's really strong.
He's got that Lucio speed boost.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, like I can't wait. It comes out on the 30th for full release.
Yeah, and me and you were gonna team up, right? And we're gonna.
Oh yeah. Oh, and the creative Jen will fucking carry us as Zidane. She's been doing it so far this week. Like she's joined me for like 2 or 3 sessions of this beta,
and I carried you endlessly.
Might as well just put my controller down and let her be done with it. Like just you carry on, Jen. I'll be over here if you need me. Oh, you don't? Okay.
Just there smoking away. Just like, call me if you need me, but you've got this covered.
You've got this. Remind me when we get back to the menus.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just let me know when I need to press OK. Yeah. When I need to collect my gil for winning. But yeah, so just we're gonna. I'm gonna be hitting that hard when it comes back.
Really
so I'm actually half decent at a game. Like I'll kind of be heavily mediocre at a game forevermore, and like no matter how much I play it, no matter how little I play it, I kind of pick up most games very quickly. So like my learning curve goes like that at the start, and then I plateau like fuck, and I never get any better. Whereas this, I actually feel like I do good occasionally, and it's fine.
You have that Neo moment. I know kung fu.
Yeah, literally. Or basically how to stand in the corner like a prick and go, here's my fast projectile, it's another one, and another one, and another one. You're dead.
That's basically kung fu, of my knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yes.
This is going to be well worth picking up. I am on this train as well. I'm absolutely on this train as well. If you didn't pick this week, I was going to. Because, yeah, so good. It's so much fun. It really is. Even if you're not very good, it's still good fun because it's flashy and it's bright and it's colourful and it's fast and... Yeah, it's all these really engaging things.
To kind of barely get them. Or get them enough to be sort of capable with them. And then you're away from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So Obi, you've been playing some Fire Emblem. Tell us a little bit about Fire Emblem Heroes.
I've never played Fire Emblem Heroes. It's Fire Emblem Warriors.
Oh, it's Fire Emblem Warriors. Brain. It'd be really good. I was gonna say, did you pick it up on the Switch? Because I picked a Switch game. I picked a Switch game this week too, but also a PC game. So we're kind of like all overlapping this week.
I wasn't sure if we were allowed to have two because I have another game that I want to rave about as well.
To be fair, like if it's the one that you put on the sheet, you already have in at least different sections of this podcast so far. I think you've got it covered.
it's actually another one that I've only just thought about.
Oh, okay. Well,
well,
let's talk about Fire Emblem for a second, then yeah.
So, if you own a Switch and you don't own this game, either return your Switch or buy this game because you're missing out either way. So, Fire Emblem, so for me, I've loved the character of Marth since playing him on Smash Brothers. I had no idea who he was. I never knew what Fire Emblem was, but I was like, who is this blue-haired, beautiful man with a kick-ass sword? How do I become him in real life? And I've always wanted to play a Fire Emblem game, but bar Pokemon, I hate turn-based games. I don't get the appeal to it. It really infuriates me. So I've never been able to actually jump into a Fire Emblem game before because I just can't deal with the turn-based life. And then hey guys, remember Dynasty Warriors? The crazy hack and slash game? We're just going to reskin that and make it a Fire Emblem game. I was like, here's all the money that you want. You want £100? You want 300? Just tell me what you want. It's only £40. Fantastic, but I would have given you more. I got it for Christmas.
Just send me your PayPal.
Yeah. Direct transfer every month. Done. So it's everything that you get. It's hack and slash with a little bit of it's a very basic plot. It's something's happened. All the heroes from all the different times are now in one world, and you have to find all the heroes to make the shield to make the bad guy go away. Very simple. You don't have to think too much about it. The gameplay is a lot more in depth than I thought it was going to be. So I literally thought it would just be, I'm just going to have to press X 1,000 times for everyone to die. But there's actually there's decent amount of combos. You do have to switch around to different characters because if you try and just play one character and run around the entire map, people die when you could have just switched to a different character. So you get to play all the different classes. Every character plays differently, which is what I love. So you can be hack and slashing with a sword. Next thing you know, you're flying on a Pegasus. Then you're playing as Robin, so you're just casting spells and annihilating people that way. And you get bonus cutscenes if you. So when you've got the NPC heroes you can team up with, or you can just team up with other people that you can switch between. And the more time you spend pairing up, their relationship grows. And if it
like in the normal Fire Emblem games, then
yeah. And once you hit the A rating, you get this bit this bonus cutscene. And I've only done it with Robin and not Corin, but Colvin? No. One of the other heroes that begins with C that isn't Corin. But his name is very close to Corin. They've got quite a lot of similar sounding names, and I'm jumping in the deep end here with Fire Emblem because I say Marth was just my love.
Roy's our boy.
Roy is not in this as far as I know. I've not come across him, which I find weird because like him and Marth were kind of like the faces of Fire Emblem for the Western world for a while. I'm having Smash Brothers flashbacks now. And being that guy who down Bs with Marth to block everything he does and just sends him flying off the map. Bye bye. But if you're looking for a fantastic game where you just very simple plot, hack and slash around some nice looking levels, slightly iffy camera from time to time, but if you like killing like 2,000 people in 10 minutes, it's the game. Everyone's pretty. Some of the writing is hilarious. I wish I remembered his name because I can't remember his name. But whoever I unlocked the special like scene with Robin, it was like the cutest romancy scene I've ever seen Nintendo do. Like I wasn't sure if I had like stumbled onto some like Fire Emblem fanfic or not, the way it was going. But it was just, I assume it was meant to be wholesome, and my mind just made it a little bit more. But it's so well done. And
I was going to say, have you played any of like the other similar games, like the Dynasty Warriors or the Hyrule Warriors, or any of the other?
I played like Dynasty Warriors back on the PS2. It's a scaled down version of that. I think it's trying to, because it's just trying to appeal to a wider audience.
Because
so you switch it, get downloading, or get to your nearest video game supplier store.
Go buy this game. Go.
Currently available at qvc.com and
good, smooth. So what was your other pick then? If you weren't to pick this one and you weren't to pick Overwatch, what would have been your other pick for this week?
My other pick would have been an alpha that just ended, so that's why I was like iffy about thinking about it. It's a game called Wormhole Wars.
Ooh.
So basically, if you take Halo 2 and Portal and throw those two games together, you have Wormhole Wars. It's team-based online multiplayer shooter, first person, everyone die, but with amazing sniper rifles, and you have portals, so like you can like sneak up behind your enemies, no one knows you're there. Boom, everyone dead. Okay. It's very, very much an alpha game right now. I don't think we'll see a release until next year.
Did I get that link right, by the way? One I just dropped in chat.
1047 games.
That sounds familiar. Yes.
Yeah,
Wormhole
sweet.
Wars. And if you want an alpha, the easiest way to get it is to join their Discord channel, because once you join their Discord channel, you basically just get sent an alpha key. I'm not sure when the next alpha section is, but it's just like I'm not sure if anyone like was a big Halo player back in the day here.
No, sadly not.
Never been a fan of Halo.
But Time Splitters though.
Time Splitters is actually coming back as well. If anyone who didn't see that, Time Splitters is returning soon.
It's about time. Like, it's taken them long enough.
Yeah.
To get around to doing it.
Absolutely. But no, okay. That's definitely worth a look then. And I've dropped the link in chat, so you guys can have a little look at that. If you guys can't see chat, then it's our 1047games.com. We can go sign up there and take a little look at things.
Just live next time.
I mean, like, I'm doing my best. All right, I'm doing my best.
I threw a curveball at you guys. You guys nailed it. Like,
I mean,
unprepared. Absolute professionals.
We're outstandingly professional.
Also, don't forget to play Overwatch as well. That'd be my sign off.
Oh, my life. So I guess that leaves me, and my game, I play it on the Switch, but this is on Steam, and this is a game that wasn't too expensive, but I think everybody who enjoys puzzle games in particular should pick up. So this is Gorogoa. Now, I hadn't heard of Gorogoa until I saw Rami tweet about this, and he said he wished he'd have found it towards the end of 2017 because it would have been his game of the year. And that's super high praise from Rami. So I kind of sat back and went, all right, I wonder what this game is about. Now, it's a puzzle game that's set out like a 4-panel cartoon. And the idea is that you move the panels around on the screen using windows and various things to overlay elements to get a little boy from having an empty bowl to having a bowl full of fruit to help him confront a monster.
I've played something like this before.
It is
Did I
so clever.
see rightly? It was produced by Untitled Wars as well.
Yes.
So that's funny enough, more links between our games because that's
There
a
you go.
Fire Emblem.
But this is so clever. A couple of times I sat there looking at it going, okay, I don't get it. And then I would rearrange the panels a little bit. Things that shouldn't have all clicked together before suddenly clicked together and I went, oh, I had that rush of feeling so clever. And I think that's something that's been missing from a lot of puzzle games that I've played recently. The only one that I think has really fulfilled that has been Black Watchman, which we've talked about a lot on the channel. And we're going to talk about it next week as well because I'm almost finished with Season 2. And so basically Black Watchman is gonna come back as my game of the week.
I want us to do, actually, we should just do a podcast on the Black Watchman.
We really should. I talked last night about how much I hate Venezuela, and people are like, why do you hate Venezuela? And I'm like, okay, let me tell you about trying to Google Maps your way around Venezuela. But no, this is
Let me talk about Venezuela's politics as well.
Well, this is the thing, because I have to look into Chavez and Bolivar as part of this game. Yeah, and the difference between the flags and what the flags all mean, and the politics, and yeah, all this sort of thing. It's crazy. But this game is on Steam, and it's genuinely wonderful. And from the first moment where you realize that you can drag a window frame away and then zoom out of that window and it be a completely different room, is super clever. It's very clever. It's so beautifully hand-drawn. The puzzles are genuinely clever, and they will give you that rush of feeling smart when you finally work out these multi-part puzzles.
I don't have that feeling often, so I think I need this game.
Oh, it's on the Switch. It's so beautifully done on the Switch, and it's not terribly expensive either, from what I remember. But Gorogoa is definitely worth a look. It's hand drawn. It sounds gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. The puzzles are difficult, but not they're not obscure. They just require a little bit of lateral thinking. And the second that you get the lateral thinking, the game's visual elements will click together to allow you that moment of, oh, this is what I meant to be doing.
I'm actually going to check the price on the Switch right now. So.
Oh, please do. Yeah, but it's on Steam as well. If you guys are up for a Steam kind of version, and it works beautifully well either way.
This is the part where we lose Obi because
he's downloaded it and he suddenly realizes that he can move window frames and door frames around.
I mean altogether from the internet, just starting to chug from the download or something. That'd be become.
Oh, it's like $15. There you go.
I don't have to look.
There you go.
I wouldn't ever think about downloading a game whilst being on a stream at the same time because.
Oh no, British internet lol.
Yeah.
But no, this is
waste of time.
It's genuinely the most beautiful game, and there are moments where you'll move a comic panel around like a spacescape to find a particular star to search for it, things like that. It's so clever and so simple, but it is beautifully well done. If you guys are into puzzle games, this is definitely a cheap one, worth a look and worth a pick up. It's just gorgeous, and I wish I'd have picked this up at the end of last year because it would have been on our Game Awards. Wholeheartedly,
out of interest, what were your games of the year last year?
Well, there's a whole podcast that you can watch to find out.
Yeah, there was a load of stuff.
That's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. We ran a whole award show full of some silly awards and some great awards. Obviously, we won Best Podcast of the Year because naturally we did.
Tough category.
Yeah. Absolutely. Between the slightly odd-looking dog and a paperclip or whatever it was, a tape measure.
The tape measure and a broken JPEG.
Yes, we won. But no, it's Persona 5 made it up there, obviously, and Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, all that kind of lot. They all made it up there. Hellblade, yeah.
Controversially, I was disappointed with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I wasn't as big a fan as I thought I was going to be, but I still really appreciated it, so I can see it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And Danganronpa won music.
Danganronpa won a lot of our music things, because Danganronpa 3 was so good. But yes, Gorogoa, go buy that. Gorogoa is fantastic. Also, Darkest Dungeon came out on the Switch yesterday. I already have 3 runs going on the 3 different difficulties. Go do that. Because I finally learned how to play it properly. So I'm now like...
Oh, this will work.
Yeah. But yeah, I wish this hadn't come out at the end of December. Because it would have been on like Game Awards. It was great. It was great.
So it can be on your Game Awards for this year. Because if it misses out selection for 1 year, then technically it should be allowed. Because how like the official Game Awards work is if your game's not out by like till October or something, you then end up at next year's.
Yeah. Well, this was like the end of December, and it was like, welp, sure, okay, fine. But you know, is whatever. It's good. So now that we've discussed those, there's a matter close to my heart that I want to discuss. And it's a matter that's close to my heart because I'm getting really frustrated at this conversation because we're having the conversation, but we're not having it in the way that I would like. I want to talk to you guys a little bit. What?
I'm sorry. I just got a notification on my phone that one of the older, like the last podcast, the one we did with Adam, has just gone up on YouTube, and my phone has just said to me, "Cunt, cunt, cunt, tentacles, cunt, cunt." Yeah, cunt, tentacles, cunt is about how that works. So I want to.
About right, Adam.
Yeah, a little bit. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit for a second about Dark Souls being a hard game. Now I have a chronic illness, and I don't believe that Dark Souls should have an easy mode. But I feel like Dark Souls should have accessibility options that allow people like me to play it without being in pain, without having to use the same controls as everybody else uses. That would make it easier for me to play. I want to have this discussion because there's an overarching discussion that comes up every so often where Dark Souls should get an easy mode, and people go, "How dare you ruin my Dark Souls experience? How fucking dare you tamper with my Dark Souls experience? Do you know that the devs made it to be that hard because they wanted it to be that hard? And how fucking dare you even think about crossing the..." And you go, okay, but what about making it more accessible to people who maybe aren't very good with controllers or have, illnesses that prevent them, disabilities that prevent them from being able to hold a controller properly or press the buttons properly? And people go, yeah, but if you made it easy, then what's the point in playing? You just don't play it. You can choose not to play it. You don't have to. And I feel like setting out that Dark Souls having an easy mode is the wrong way to go about having that conversation, particularly when we're addressing an audience of people who are fanatic about a game that is hard. Surely this should be phrased as, what accessibility controls could we put into Dark Souls and games like Dark Souls in order to make it more accessible to a wider range of people?
I mean, I don't know about specific things that you could do because I'm no genius as far as games design is concerned, but like, I do very, 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 very strongly feel that you're not a child if you have difficulty being able to play a game in some way, shape or form through a disability aspect. So why should you need an easy mode to deal with it? Like, you don't want an easy mode. You don't want it to be simplified for you. You don't want to be pandered to with the actual content itself. You just want to be able to have a
play
way
it on your terms.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's where the difference is, and that's the mistake and the crossover that people keep making when they shouldn't. So I mean, as I say, being someone that doesn't have like a sort of a physical disability that would stop me from being able to do things, I wouldn't know exactly what would work, because I would imagine there would be a level of different setups for different types of disability, what have you. But I mean, just things like a lot of games miss button reassignment.
Yeah. That's a big thing. I can't play Cuphead using the default controls. I can't shoot. I don't know if have you guys played Mario Kart on the Switch at all?
Not on the Switch. Yeah. No? I bought it, yet to play it. Okay,
so on the Switch, there's an auto accelerate mode. And when that first came out, people were like, "Oh, you've made an easy mode because now people can just drive around." So it's impossible to win using like just the auto accelerate. But what it stops is me having to do this. I have, for clarity's sake, I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which means that all of my connective tissue through my joints is shit. And it means that I get a lot of joint pain, I get a lot of muscle pain, I get a lot of bone pain, I get tendon pain, I get ligament pain, blah, 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 blah. Or holding down a button for a long period of time means that I can only play like 2 races of Mario Kart before my hands are like, oh, why have you done this? And my hand gets stuck. My hand will get stuck pushing the button. And auto accelerate mode stops me from having to push the button. The game does it automatically for me. If I want to do a quick start, I hold down the button, I do my quick start, I let the button go, the game lets off the acceleration a little bit and then goes, oh, you wanted us to keep accelerating. Okay, I got you. And then picks up the acceleration for me again without me having to hold the button. Who in their right mind in Mario Kart takes their finger off the accelerate button at any point?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Never.
So having a button that does it for you, you know, I'm talking about things in Dark Souls like having to hold down a button to sprint, where instead you have a tap sprint on, tap sprint off. I'm talking about being able to reconfigure your buttons, so your roll and your attack are the 2 buttons that are easiest for you to press, or if you use parries. I'm not talking about making Dark Souls a QTE game, right? I'm not talking about making Dark Souls easy. I'm talking about putting methods in place and allowing third-party controllers and being able to assign them effectively. So if you have a button array instead of controller, you can still use that. I think, again, I'm gonna get your thoughts on this, Obi, because you work with a great number of people, and you are you're very clever, you're a very thoughtful individual. But I kind of feel like having an easy mode is very almost patronizing.
Yeah, I would say it's insulting. Like, because easy mode does not equal accessibility.
I deserve to be able to play a game without pain, and as somebody with dyslexia, and I have Erlin's, where reading white on black and black on white is very difficult because there's too much contrast there. So being able to change text box window color means that I can actually read what's going on, right? Dark modes and things like that mean that I can actually read what's going on. Being able to change the font means that maybe I can read what's going on. I don't need the game to, like, make the text the size of the moon in order for me to read it. I don't need the game to read it very slowly. I need the ability to have a different font, have a default font instead of the cursive font that they use, or be able to change text box window color or whatever, you know? I don't feel like I need to be babied. I feel like I need better options that allow me to play the game in the way that it was intended. Do you guys feel that maybe it's a bit patronizing to say, oh, well, you just need the game to be easier?
No, not at all. I feel like the Souls, Bloodborne, those games are purposely designed to be challenging and hard. And to give it an easy mode just wouldn't make any sense for the franchise and what the entire purpose of it was. But it does need everything you're saying. It needs accessibility for those who have special requirements, who want to enjoy the game, but are physically unable to in the state it is because it's just too painful for them. Like, I know Radaz was making similar points that she doesn't want her hand held while she plays these games, which is what an easy mode would feel like. But they need a way to be able to play them. And like, one thing that I say to a lot of people, are like, oh no, it doesn't, it's fine the way it is. So I was like, okay, so take the Charity Special Effects. They designed custom controllers for people who are physically disabled to play games. Do you have a problem with that? They're like, oh no, that's fine. I'm like, well, this is just that, but scaled
integrating it into your game.
Into game without having to do that, so that we can take our Xbox, our PlayStation, our keyboards and go, okay, I don't like using X to roll because it's not in the right place, but I would like it on L2, so I can just do that instead of having to do it with my thumb. It's just something that is simple. I use that term loosely because I've never designed a game or developed a game. I don't know how simple that is, but
it's something that can be achieved. We see it in lots of games as we go through.
like every PC game I've ever played, you can go in and choose whatever your keyboard wants, what you want to do. Like the default for Overwatch, the like melee button is V. I'm like, I want that to be my mouse wheel 4 button because that's what I'm used to, and that's just second nature. It's just simple things like that I think people overlook. And I feel that Twitter is one of the worst places to have this discussion.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people feel that you're shouting at them or like trying to be like angry at them when you're just trying to have a conversation. You only get a certain amount of characters to make your point.
Yes.
Like if this was a tweet, I'd be like 6 tweets in by now, and people are like,
and it's the unfortunate thing. I mean, the conversation that you were saying about Radis, I actually felt that Radis was going about talking about it in the wrong way, and I don't think maybe that's not her. No, let me start that again. I don't think that is inherently her fault. I think that it's very difficult to put the point across that we don't want to be patronized, but there are solutions that make the game easier for us, but don't make the game easier. And that's a very difficult sort of concept to put across. And again, like, I feel talking to a community who's based on a game being hard, putting over the term easy mode isn't a good plan. That's not a good way to sell that to them in the slightest. You know, and it is. Twitter, as you say, is all about people shouting at each other. It's super difficult to get your point across in a coherent way that everybody's going to accept. And a lot of the things that were proposed in that conversation were good, and she's entirely right. We deserve to be able to play these games without being in pain. The same as I deserve to be able to play more than 2 games of Mario Kart before I'm like, alright guys, I'm really sorry, I'm out. It's super upsetting. I paid like, what, $60 for a game that I can play 2 of in a go and then be like, alright, I'm done.
Well, soon with the Lego cardboard, you can use the accelerator for it instead of just your foot.
Yep.
But like, use Mario Kart as an example. I forget which button it is. It's been a while since I played Mario Kart. But like, a button that you hold to have the like whatever item you got. Say you got like the banana peel or whatever. Like to be able to hold that behind your car as like a sort of shield.
You have to hold.
Yeah. It's either RZ or R. I can't remember.
Yeah. One lap of that, and my finger starts to hurt, and I have no disability.
Right.
Like, so, you know, like, if that's happening to someone without a disability, then I dare say it's really fucking happening to someone that does have disabilities, and that should be something that's accounted for, you know? Like, it's visible, it's represented. I mean, to give you an idea, right, with the Mario Kart example, okay? So I have to hold down the accelerate button. I can't hold down buttons with the front of my thumbs because, and look away if you're squeamish for a second. So my thumbs are super squishy, and they bend really far. Okay, so holding down a button with my thumb at that angle is not ideal. That's not ideal, which is why after 2 races my hand gets stuck because I have to put so much pressure to stop that from bending so far, like, and still push the button. I have to use this part of my thumb here. You guys can look again now. I'm really sorry about that. I have to use this joint here of my thumb to push buttons, but that makes then pushing other buttons entirely impossible. Yeah, it's not as sort of agile as the typical
nowhere near. It's great for fighting games where we have to roll across 3 buttons because you've got a hard bit to roll across. But again, 4 matches and I'm like, oh wow, my thumb aches.
It's grated fully.
Right. Like my thumbs are stuck this way now, and that's not good. But they're always going to be that way, and I don't get a choice in that. But like, having the auto accelerate option means that I don't go through that.
Yeah.
And being able to toggle items behind items in front, that'd be great. That'd be absolutely great, and I think that'll be the next step. A lot of people complained when that came in because it makes the game easier, but we proved really quickly that actually you can't win using that. Only that. You have to be able to change your acceleration and brake and
skill and whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like it's not. I feel like it's not putting an easy mode in. It's in your games option, being like, okay, if you need a different color text window, we got you. If you need a different color font, we got you. If you need a different font size, UI size. Oh god, UI size is the worst. Trying to play Final Fantasy 15, you have to be this close to the screen.
Oh my god.
Otherwise, you don't know where anything is.
Ants.
Right? Like, it's really difficult, and having these options in, I feel it's more work. I gotcha, it's more work. but we could put these in without inherently tampering with the game's design. You look at League and some of the things that are available for League. Before I got my glasses, the only way I could play HOTS was to make my cursor the size of a 2-pence piece. But I could still do that within the game. League has colorblind options that works. They really do work. So, you know.
I mean, like, Call of Duty's had colorblind mode since the game's come out. Like, there's like simple things like that made it easier to play. It even made it easier to play for people who aren't colorblind.
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like some of the contrast is a lot better. But here's the thing: is some of them, some of the implementations to make it more accessible are quite easy. Like different button bindings, they're not a difficult thing to add in. Like they're pretty universal through most engines that you build games from, as having basically something to just fucking drop in as an entire module to allow you to do so. There's a lot of indie studios that have like a plethora of different accessibility options, be it colorblind modes, be it more specific stuff like toggles for running, for example, as opposed to holding down a button. Or aiming, it's just a tap instead of holding down or whatever. These are all things that indie studios can manage to shoehorn into their games, and they're not things that change like consistent like it doesn't change gameplay mechanics ongoing.
The one that always strikes me is Thimbleweed Park has an option in their menu to change the way that the toilet roll is facing. If it upsets you that your toilet roll goes underneath, you can change it in the game settings to put it on top. Now think about for a second how much work that was, and then think about like changing the font.
To be honest, if it didn't, I would have returned the game if it had the toilet paper going backwards.
Well, you can decide when you go into your options menu.
I can't deal with this.
I can't deal with this. I'm really sorry. Like, yeah.
The spider in the game for an arachnophobe. It's just I would just run screaming from the room if it was the wrong way around.
But again, there are games where you can substitute. Like Terraria, for example, if you're a vegetarian, you can set the game to be in... Is it Terraria? I forget. One of them like that. And I forget which one it is.
I think it is.
Maybe.
One of them like that, anyway, has... It might even be oxygen not included and my brain's fried. That has a thing where if you don't eat meat, then you can set all the food types to be vegetarian food types.
Yeah.
No! It's dead cells! That's what that is. That's dead cells. Yes. So, like, if we can do silly things like that, because, sorry, that is a little bit silly. Why?
Yeah,
Why?
Stuff in it, like.
Yeah. Yeah. Why can we not put an option in for a dyslexic font? There is a dyslexic-friendly font. It's absolutely free to use commercially. Absolutely free to use commercially.
Cosmic Sans.
No. There's a please not Comic Sans. Comic Sans is so round. There's
so many squiggles.
There is a dyslexia-friendly font that is absolutely free to use. They change it all the time depending on what research they end up doing and things like that. And that'd be so useful because some of these games with super cursive font, I'm like, nah, that's squiggling all over the...
Clear for the average user as well, like I would imagine it is, like it's just a fucking font, right?
Right. But like, if you want to play Bloodborne and have big cursive font, that's cool. But sometimes when I play Bloodborne, I have to put a ruler on the screen to stop all the writing from moving everywhere as I read things. So like, not having to do that would be like super good.
So why do you think these things are not done? Is it funding? Is it laziness? Is it lack of thought? Lack of concern?
I think it's funding and lack of thought. I just think people don't think it through. They're focused on so many other things. They're focused on getting the game polished and done. They don't think about the back end of how they can help everyone. They think of the average gamer and what the average gamer would need. And that's just not something that comes up. More so is coming up now, and like even get developers like AAA ones like Blizzard who you can fully customize whatever you want in their games. Like even like Diva's Rocket, you can have it if you press it, it uses its full burst, or you can like just use it and tap it again and it turns itself off. Like she's completely customizable to how you want her to be.
I think the proof that it's lack of thought is actually an example that comes from elsewhere. So there was a supermarket that was condemned for, and I think it was peeled oranges. So they had peeled oranges in a plastic packet. And people got really upset because they were using these big plastic packets for something that, nature's given it its own covering. There are some days where I physically cannot peel an orange. And so I would very much like to go down to the supermarket, like buy or have in my fridge a peeled orange, stab it a couple of times with a knife so that I can get to it, and then just eat it.
Yeah.
So I don't have to sit there and look at it and wait for somebody to come home to be able to peel it for me.
Or just take like a huge meat cleaver and just
hit it until something
some sort of mushy orange comes out. Yeah, and I feel that I've got a permanently broken wrist, and doing stuff with my left hand is hard. So something like that is easy.
Right, but people just didn't think. Why would they sell pre-peeled oranges? So yeah, I think it's for sure a lack of thought. But it's nice that we're starting to make these points now. We're starting to get it out there a little bit. That actually, this stuff isn't particularly hard to manage. It's not particularly difficult to put into games, and a lot of engine companies are trying to make it as easy as possible for, specifically indie developers to put that kind of thing in. Sony are trying to make it easier. The PS4 is now as remappable as they can make it. So yeah, it's lack of thought for sure, but I think it's getting better, and I hope that it continues to do so.
They are pricey, but Xbox has their Elite controllers as well, which has the 4 paddles on the back that you can customize to any button you want. And because of this finger I can barely use because of my broken wrist, having a paddle there to do jump or crouch or whatever I want to do.
Yeah, I feel you.
So much easier.
Yeah.
I feel you.
You guys can't see that, but my owner under any pressure, which there's minimal movement on this thing.
But even the thumb sticks on the Elite controller as well, you can switch those out for different bits and pieces as well, which is all, because the raised or the dipped tops on them can make a difference to how easily you can control them.
Razer used to do the saber tooth. Now I don't know where they are with the saber tooth, but the saber tooth used to be that you could unscrew and screw the thumbsticks to make them harder to push or easier to push, depending on what level you needed, and that was always really great.
I believe the problem with them is they broke quite easily, which is why it's not seen as much anymore.
But they are looking to bring that back, from what I understand. So that's good. And I mean, I know I'm not particularly meant to be on Razer's side about anything ever, but I did used to use the saber tooth a hell of a lot because you could customize it however you needed to set it up, and that was great fun.
Yeah. We had to use it for a tournament last year, no, 2016, and we didn't realize at the time that the one I got had fully locked the 2 main buttons. So I had to almost put them on the desk and shove them to actually be able to register to use.
Oh god. Oh. But yeah, no, I think it's coming around. I think it's coming around, and that's inherently a good thing. Absolutely inherently a good thing.
And I'll tell you one that they need to stop, even for the average fucking user, is holding down the thumbstick button to run.
Yeah, fuck that.
That bullshit.
Like
that, I can't do that. How the fuck does anyone else that has trouble putting pressure down manage to do that and move the fucking thumbstick at the same time? I will never know.
That's actually why on the Elite I use the raised one for that sort of stuff, because I find it easier to hold that down and move, because you get more dexterity out of the longer.
Yeah. No, Darkest Dungeon on the Switch, you press R3 to move on to the next screen, to provisions and things like that. But they have the little raised ones. And of course, if you don't want to press a thumbstick, you just go dink.
Yeah.
And you can do it with the touchscreen, because the game is entirely touchscreen, which is it's a miracle, and I love it. But yeah, no, it is coming around. It's important, and it's coming around. I don't think we need an easy mode. I don't think we need to be patronized. I don't think we need to be babied. I think we need people to understand that we do have coping mechanisms for these things, but if they could be put into mainstream games, or if they could be accepted by mainstream games by way of custom controllers and things like that, that'd be ace. That'd be really good.
There's actually a great little drawing that applies to this that I saw years ago. It applies to everything and about the individual, and it was an elephant, a cat, a dog, a bird, a goldfish, and a zebra, and then a monkey sat at a desk saying, "Whoever climbs to the top of the tree passes the test." and it's just like half these people can't even get up there, and it's just like how society thinks that just because this is how we standardize something means that everyone should be able to achieve it based on the accepted standardization. But we all have different abilities that take us in like completely different situations. Like if the test was swim 100 laps, the goldfish and shark would win it no problem, but everyone else would die.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think finally we're seeing a lot more like wider scope as to
Which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think that's probably everything that we want to discuss.
My thoughts exactly. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Words are hard today. I think that was everything that we wanted to discuss for today, though. Oh, no, it's still not happening. Shall I try it one last time? Right. So, I think that's everything that we wanted to discuss for today. Yay!
I'm so proud.
Yeah! There's one last thing that we always do, and that's naming the episode 6 out of 10 something. And again, like, chat, throw your ideas forward as to what. Have you guys got any ideas about what you wanna name our episode this week? Because I'm not too sure.
There was a couple of things that came up early, and they've since departed from my brain.
The dating profile one was quite
yeah,
good.
6 out of 10.
I want it hard, I want it now, I want it fast.
I mean, like, that's a winner in my eyes.
I update my OkCupid now. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's a winner now. 6 out of 10. Like, I will play it on my Etch-a-Sketch. Is one of my favorites that I saw go past in chat.
That was good old Englander.
I love England like to death.
Oh, what was the comment about Barry Island being a DLC or something? Fuck, what was that? I can't remember what we were talking about at the time.
No, what were we talking about with Barry being...
Oh, it was Fable, wasn't it?
Oh, Fable! Barry Island and Newport DLC. 6 out of 10, if you squeamish, look away. Look, right. I have to warn people, because, the disfigurements and the extra bendiness is really bad. But no, Obi, you get choice on what this episode is called. Have you got any idea what you would like to call this 6 out of 10?
I do like 6 out of 10 Barry Island and Newport DLC.
Barry Island and Newport DLC it is. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Obi, tell us once more, please, where it is that people can find you, what it is that you do, and why like anything that you might be doing in the near futures that people can come and have a little look at.
You can find me on Twitter at Samos89, or if you just search Obi-Wan Shinobi, I'm the only result, which is a bonus. One day I should really get on my own. I should rename my app, but that's a future me problem. Coming up, we've got charity streams all over the shop. Actually have a charity stream starting in about 30 minutes to go moderate for Operation Supply Drop. And I will get make sure I get the right link. Because it's not on our channel, it's on somebody else's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to stop typing.
It was like mission control for a second there. Everyone was just...
Well, this is the thing. I wanted to put it in twitch.tv/Operation Supply Drop, and then I kind of went, oh.
So it's
Wait.
Moonwaves who's doing the charity stream.
There you go.
So give that a solid click in. Make sure you guys are switching over there. We shall... I reckon. It's not starting for another half hour, you say?
I think if I've got my time zone conversion right, it's either half an hour or an hour and a half. I'm kind of hoping it's an hour and a half so I can have time to order pizza and eat before I have to go moderate it. And else you can find me at Co-op Causes, twitch.tv/Co-op Causes, which is something I'm working with Hip on in the very near future.
We're going to do some charity stuff. It's going to be great.
Yeah. For a charity called Save the Children, a malnutrition charity that currently impacts the lives of 2 billion people. So trying to help with that. You'll find me, if there's a charity stream happening, there's a good chance I'm either going to be there or helping, even if it's not a charity I work for, like conveniently wearing my St. Jude Play Live hoodie. A lot of St. Jude stuff, I'd moderate and help with that because I love St. Jude. And Zach and Susan are fantastic, and a lot of the streamers that I work with all do St. Jude stuff as well. So I'm always there. If you're ever on the internet, I'll probably be awake. I don't sleep anymore, so if you ever need a chat, I'm around.
Oh. Until lovely chat.
Seriously, thank you so much for being on today's show. You are an absolutely wonderful human being, and you're welcome back on any time. It's always good to have a little chatterino with you.
Yeah, I love being here. Thank you so much for having me.
Sam! You know what I'm going to ask, and I know what you're going to say. I do ask you every week.
No.
What are you doing this week on the stream, Sam?
Tomorrow on this channel with some description. I'm sure it'll be vaguely acceptable, kind of around the afternoonish, sort of 12 o'clock-ish time. Sunday night, I'll be doing on the Twitters, under my account, which is Squall Mozza. There'll be an announcement about a really cool stream that I'm doing. Well, not that I'm doing, but I'm having done around Aero, which is a game that I'm trying to promote hard at the moment. There's a really cool event sort of streamy thing that we're doing with that, and it's going to be so fucking good. That's going to happen on Tuesday, but we're announcing it tomorrow. So make sure to plant thine eyeballs on Twitter for that one.
I am so excited.
Can I remember one more thing that I forgot to mention completely?
Yeah.
On February 7th, pay attention to Discord's Twitter. That's all I say. That's all I'm allowed to say for right now.
Ooh.
February 7th.
Okay. All right.
Other than that, that's about it really for me. I'll be sat in a court. I'll probably just be grumbling about things on Twitter as usual. Just, well, it's not like it used to be. I don't like it anymore. I'm quite sad. Because I'm apparently from the north. Pip, what are you doing this week? Because you're one of these people that has schedules and shit.
Right? Okay, so streams are, as always, from about 12:30, but probably not because I'm sleeping all the time at the moment again. No, on Monday we're going to do some soft-spoken Sunless Sea, if you guys are into, not quite ASMR, but very soft-spoken storytelling. I finally got to grips with Sunless Sea, so we're going to do some Sunless Sea storytelling. For the rest of the week, then, we're going to be trying some various different games. We've got some Switch games, actually, to show off for you guys, which is really cool. Really neat game to show you guys. It's gonna be a week of getting back into things, and we need to discuss my 2-year partner anniversary, which we're going to be playing Amnesia: The Dark Descent for. And I'm not excited because I had a discussion with Adam about how to actually be able to stream the game and not be frightened off my tits. And he kind of went, yeah, no, that's not. You're going to be frightened and it's going to be great. So, you know, it should be good fun. It should be good fun. All that's coming up, keep an eye out on my Twitter, twitter.com/TonyPixels with 2 X's, to keep an eye on what's going on with that. But it's going to be a good week. It's going to be a bit of a mixed bag, but it's going to be a good week. You guys are going to get lots of peep content, and it should be good fun. So,
Great.
no podcast next week, but podcast the week after, as per usual. And hopefully we'll have some really good news, and I'm going to enthuse about Black Watchmen some more, because of course I am.
Yeah, I'm very tempted to make this next one coming up just us literally just pulling apart Black Watchmen and getting like full tinfoil hat about it, and like I'm sure we could get some people from their community to come on and go, well, actually, I measured the angle coming off of the side, and you'll notice that it's in a direct straight line with the moon, which basically means. And I think that'd be grand. Yeah,
I think that'd be great. No. Podcast, week after next for absolute sure. We'll grab a guest and we'll do some stuff and it'll be grand. Guys, thank you so much for joining me as always. Remember to, if you've missed any of this, you can catch it on the YouTubes and also the SoundClouds, because we do all of that goodness. Guys, say bye-bye. It's been really great to have you guys on. I love all of your faces in chat. I love all your faces everywhere. You guys have a really great night, a really great weekend, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Adios.
Bye.